November 2008 was the difference between these two Patriot League contenders. 3 losses ended Lafayette's hopes for a Patriot League title. 3 wins for Colgate led the way to the Raiders' 6th Patriot League crown. November 2009 will once again be the difference in who takes the gold and who will be left in the cold. It's a huge Patriot League battle. Colgate, Lafayette, on the Lafayette Sports Network. Next! Fisher Stadium on the campus of Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania. The Lafayette Sports Network, in cooperation with RCN Television, WBPH Channel 60, and Masson Sports Network, presents Lafayette College football. It's a huge Patriot League game this afternoon as the Raiders of Colgate come to town as they'll take on the Lafayette Leopards. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Laubach, along with John Leone. Dan Mowdy will be down on the field to us. And before we get to this game, John, how about some props to the Patriot League football program? They now have 3 teams, Colgate, Lafayette, and Holy Cross, in the top 25 in FCS football.
Really, Gary, it's a tribute to the league and how well these teams have played. And fittingly, these last 3 weeks come down to what amounts to a round robin among those 3 teams. It ought to be interesting.
It is really championship football now at its best. Colgate comes in with 1 loss in the league, Lafayette none, Holy Cross none. Lafayette, of course, has Holy Cross next week. For Colgate, this is an absolute must-win.
Yeah, no question, Gary. And the game pits 2 of the best teams at what they do. Lafayette at stopping the run. They're ranked nationally in that category. And, of course, Colgate running the ball. The Lafayette community has ordered a blackout day. These 2 teams, their offenses offer anything but a blackout. They're high voltage.
Well, John mentions what could be the real keys to this afternoon's football game. It certainly involves Colgate's rushing attack as we take a look at Nate Eaches, who really killed the Leopards last year with a great drive down the field to win the ball game. Going up against Lafayette's nationally ranked defensive unit. They were outstanding last year. They're outstanding again this year. It's going to be Lafayette Colgate. It doesn't get any bigger. The key. Welcome back to Keys to Today's Game, presented by the Lafayette Sports Network, delivering high-quality programming worldwide via television, radio, streaming video, and satellite. Let's start with the gate. John, their offense is conservative like Rush Limbaugh, but it's really all about Rush team ball.
Well, from the Excellence in Broadcasting booth here, yeah, Gary, there's no understating what this offensive unit is built around. Nate Eaches right there, Jordan McCord right there, and, of course, the quarterback, Greg Sullivan. All 3 are 1,000-yard rushers, and this team averages nearly 250 rushing yards a game.
They are 3rd in the nation in rushing the football. Eaches had 171 yards last year against Lafayette. Number 2, Simon says, throw to me. And that, of course, is Greg Sullivan to Pat Simons.
6'6", Gary, just a long, lanky, a pro player, a pro prospect for sure. Greg Sullivan has 107 completions on the year and 14 TDs. Pat Simons has 53 of those catches, almost half, for 756 yards. And of those 14 TDs, 11 have gone to Simons.
And Johnny has 158 in his career, 2,541 yards, leads the Patriot League in scoring average. 7.88 points per game. On the Lafayette side, 1-12 has to make them sick. 1-12.
Yeah, you know, Gary, 1-12 should make them sick. A lot of talk about the H1N1, but there's a more serious virus going around, and that fella right there has seemed to have Lafayette's number ever since he took over. He is 12-1 against Lafayette in his years at Colgate. Coach Devonnie right there has suffered through a 1-8 record against the Raiders.
Yeah, if that's not motivation enough, Lafayette's only win against this team came in 2006, a 27-10 victory. For Lafayette this year, offensively, it is pass and ye shall receive. Rob Curley last week, just outstanding. He's been great all year, John.
He has. He's completing nearly 70% of his passes for 258 yards per game. He spreads it around. There are 13 Lafayette receivers. 11 of them have multiple receptions or double-figure catches. So, Gary, this is the key. If Lafayette's strength, the rush defense, can stop Colgate's strength, the rush offense, I believe Lafayette has enough diversity on offense to compensate for that.
There you get a look at Rob earlier. There was some concern about his right shoulder. He banged it up a little bit in last week's game. He told me he was fine. He was ready to go. I think he would have told me that if he didn't have a right shoulder. Mike Seacrest, Howard Fonstock, John Schmidt, Jeff Cooney, Frank D'Angelo, Milton Britton, and Peter Schaefer are our officials today. Before we get started, a big shout out to Lafayette's baseball coach, Joe Kinney, watching the football game this afternoon from his room at Sloan Kettering. Joe, we wish you the absolute best. Get better. All right, this should be a huge, huge matchup between these two teams as Colgate comes in ranked number 18 or 20, depending on the poll you're looking at. Lafayette comes in ranked number 25 or 24, depending on what poll you're looking at. Lafayette is now in the top 25 for their 6th straight year. That's what Frank Devonnie has done in his 10 seasons. 59 and 51 for Frank. Dick Biddle in 14 years, 112 and 50. This is the 53rd meeting between these two teams. Colgate leads this series 38-10-4. Colgate is the defending Patriot League champions. They have a loss this year, their only loss, the Holy Cross, 42-28. Because of that, they need to win this afternoon's football game. It's a blackout here at Fisher Stadium. Many of the fans wearing black. Of course, the Leopards, they go to their maroon jerseys for today's ball game. And let's get ready to play some football. Evan Colburn will kick it up. It is deep, it is long, and it is taken at about the 7-yard line. Fake the handoff, and with the football and getting a pretty good pop down there was number 32, Jerome Rudolph. And Jerome Rudolph, we think, is going to stay in there to play tailback. But Lafayette will have the ball, 1st and 10 at the 23. Rob Curley, ECAC Player of the Week, Patriot League Player of the Week, has completed 69% of his passes for 2,059 yards and 16 touchdowns. Starting their drive at the 23-yard line, the Lafayette Leopards with their first offensive play of the ball game. We are glad you are with us. It is Jerome Rudolph in the backfield and in motion. Goes number 12, Greg Strike. Good to see him there. And Strike gets the ball, gets banged out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Coming up to make the hit for Colgate was Mike Barry, the free safety. And, John, here's the offense.
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about the playmakers, Gary, and Rob Curley certainly headlines that group. But I'll tell you, it all starts and ends with that offensive line, and Mike Wojcik is a senior captain. He's the center and the cornerstone of an offensive line under Stan Clayton that has just been phenomenal this year.
Starting lineups presented by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Rob Curley under center on a 2nd and 4 from the 29. He'll give it to Jerome Rudolph, who's had a great week of practice. And that looked like that might have been a helmet tackle. I'm not quite sure how he got spun around the way he did. I don't see any penalty flag. Looks like he picked up 3 as he was tackled, none too gently, by Greg Hadley on the play.
Yeah, Greg Hadley out of Syracuse, New York, Gary. That was an awkward-looking tackle, but Hadley had a fistful of shoulder pad, and that's how the tackle appeared to spin the Rudolph around.
Lafayette 46% on 3rd down attempts this year as they look at a 3rd and 1. Colgate has stopped the opponent. We're only giving up a 1st down on 34%. Colgate's number will go up. Lafayette's number will go down as they did not get the 1st down. A good hit by Uzi Ida as you get a look at number 7, Garrington Spence. John.
Yeah, well, the defense, Gary, is solid. This is a physical football team. You called his name, Uzi Ida, on that last tackle, but Zach Smith and Greg Hadley are the linebackers that really provide the catalyst for this Colgate defense, Gary. Again, they run the ball well, and they stop the run well, and that's why it's a team that comes in contention for the Patriot League Championship.
Tom Kondash is in to punt it away, averaging 37 yards. Not a great punt. He will get a Lafayette bounce. Simmons was back to receive it. He just simply ran away from it. It'll be whistled dead at the 36-yard line. That's just a 30-yard punt.
Yeah,
and good field position now for Colgate at their own 36-yard line.
Yeah, sorry, Gary. Mike Condash has done a great job all year long. I'm sorry, Tommy Condash, but that time he just didn't get all of it. There's not a whole lot of wind to speak of. A little bit breezy. What breeze there is going into his face.
Greg Sullivan in the ball game at quarterback. He's 6'1", 204-pound junior. 107 for 189. That's 57%. He has 14 TDs on the year for 1,461 yards. Nate Each is the ball carrier. As we mentioned, he had 171 yards last year against the Lafayette Leopards. They really held him out last week. He only had 1 carry in last week's ball game against Lehigh for just 4 yards. And John, here's the O.
Yeah, well, the tailback listed there is Jordan McCord. It's not starting. He is not starting. It is Eachus. Greg Sullivan, the trigger guy. Keep an eye on the big wideout, Pat Simons, number 80. He's a pro prospect and has great hands.
2nd and 2. Sullivan's going to roll and flip. He's got a man wide open. Not a Leopard anywhere near the vicinity as the ball was caught by Nick Kvetic. Kvetic with just his 5th catch of the year. He's a tight end who they really haven't used very much. John, let's get another look at it.
Well, here's Kvetic right here, right here on the edge. It's going to be a drag pattern. Watch him come across, but hold on. It's all about the play fake into the middle. Now watch Kvetic. He's just coming into your screen now, and that's just a well-designed play. Gary, you can run plays like that when your running game commands the kind of respect that Colgate's does.
They picked up 28 yards on that play, right to the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 Colgate. Rolling to his right and looking is Sullivan. And he's going to tuck it under. He is a good runner as he comes in with 638 yards on the ground, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. He has 6 touchdowns. Mark Legiro is there to make the tackle. Mark Legiro leads that defense, a gain of 4.
It's good to see Mike Schmidline back at the linebacker spot. He missed last week with a dinged-up shoulder, but the guys up front, Weitzel, Dell, Polson, and Jarowski, they have played great football this year.
And I said 4, I should have said 2. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8. Schmidline leads the Leopards in tackles, and Mark Legiro is 2nd from the 26. The handoff goes to Eachus. He follows his blockers, steps out of a tackle, and John, that's what he does so well. He steps out of tackles. He finally is brought down by Donald Ellis, but not till he gets to the 17-yard line. A gain of 9, and that will move the chains again.
He is built so low to the ground, and in football, the low man wins. And Gary, look, I think he's a former wrestler, if I'm not mistaken.
He is, state champion.
Yeah, and he's just so strong, lower body, that you've really got to wrap him up.
How small is he? 5'10", 206 pounds. It is all muscle. From the 17-yard line, they are in the red zone where they score 85% of the time. Here goes Eachus. Good hole. Eachus finally gets popped at around the 4-yard line. Otherwise, he was in for the touchdown. Colgate moving the ball. Lafayette's Eric McGovern with a touchdown-saving tackle. Down to the 4 is a gain of 13.
Well, as advertised, it's the Colgate offensive line, and it's the hard running right there of Nate Eachus. You see the hold he had early on. And Colgate, this is what they do, Gary. You don't average 246 yards a game rushing by accident.
1st and goal to go from the 4-yard line. Eachus, oh my, Eachus got popped, but he didn't have the football. Here comes a penalty flag as Sullivan faked the handoff. Eachus got murdered on the play. I believe it was Alan Weitzel that hit him, and now let's wait for the call on the penalty.
Mark Legiro's initial reaction is positive, so it's probably going against the Raiders.
We'll get the call. Mike Sechrist.
Holding on the offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 1st down.
We'll take a look at it. A huge penalty on Brian Merrifield. Here's John.
Yeah, and watch 61 right here on this side of the screen. We got a great view of it. Stop it right now. Right here. There's the hold. That was a pretty good takedown right there, and permitted Sullivan to get to the end zone.
And the hold must have taken place, John, at the 1-yard line. So they'll give him a gain of a couple.
Oh, it was a late flag, so you knew it happened late in the run. Look at that play.
Ian Dell. 3, and Ian Dell comes in to make that hit. Ian Dell, the defensive tackle, we've seen him do that so often this season. 6'2", 273-pound senior on senior day.
Watch number 55 right in the middle of your screen shoot the gap, and he almost gets to the ball before Nate Eaches does. Colgate was lucky to avoid a fumble on that play. Great penetration by Ian Dell.
Well, let's see how big that penalty becomes, as now it's back to the 14-yard line, a loss of 3. Second and goal to go from that spot. Eaches alongside of Sullivan. Sullivan back looking for his favorite receiver. And oh my, what a catch.
That's touchdown.
There is that NFL potential player, Pat Simmons, with his 12th touchdown catch of the year.
In college football, all you have to do is have the 1 foot down, and there's no question about it. Watch Pat Simmons. And how about the throw? Now that replay, we're going to see it this time. Watch. Right leg down, ball secure. That's a big-time play, almost indefensible.
Perfect pass. We had good coverage. It didn't matter. At 6'6", he went up and got it. That drive, 8 plays, as they go 64 yards. We'll call timeout. Colgate strikes first. They lead it by a 7-0 score. Colgate drive took 3 minutes and 13 seconds. They went 64 yards on 8 plays. The touchdown pass by Greg Sullivan was his 15th of the year. For Simmons, we mentioned his 12th of the season, but that's his 26th of his career. He is 5th all-time in the Patriot League in touchdown catches. So Lafayette now has to answer. Evan Colburn is back to kick it off to Jerome Rudolph or DeAndre Morrow. They're standing inside their 10. It's end over end. It'll come to Rudolph, and he'll take it at the 7-yard line. And he'll get a good block from DeAndre Morrow. Rudolph 30, 35. He's going to the 40. And now the kicker can't get it. Down the sideline, he finally steps out of bounds. Great return by Jerome Rudolph. That's a good answer to the Colgate touchdown.
You're exactly right, Gary. That's exactly what this offense needed after the defense kind of got punched in the face on that first drive. And Jerome Rudolph comes very close to turning this thing. His lateral momentum, there you see him break it to the outside. Now watch, Gary, right here, as the kicker almost gets him, he forces him to ever so slightly hit that sideline, and Lafayette will take over in Colgate territory at the 45.
That was a 48-yard return by Jerome Rudolph. Lafayette starts this drive, as John mentioned, in Colgate territory from the 45. They'll work out of the eye. Fake the pitch, and downfield, got a man open. They drop the ball right into the hands of Michael Bolton. He's going to go all the way. Oh my! 45-yard touchdown pass. Michael Bolton, second of his career. His first game last week.
I apologized if I almost choked, but I got to tell you, Rob Curley had 2 choices. It was a completely blown coverage. Now, I think you're going to see Bolton start way over here. Watch him come all the way across the screen. Now, hold on. We've got 2 tight ends. Out here was Doty. He was uncovered as well. But Rob Curley, seeing the entire field, threw it behind to Michael Bolton, and a huge 45-yard pass play for a touchdown.
Bolton turned on the speed a little bit there, as Davis Rodriguez is going to knock this ball game up. 9:29 on the clock, and where's the defense? 7-7. We'll be back. There you get a look at why this game is so important today. The Patriot League standings presented by Coordinated Health, the team that cares for the Lafayette Leopards. Holy Cross is at Lehigh. An early score we got, that's a 12:30 start, was Lehigh 7, Holy Cross nothing. Bucknell at Fordham and Georgetown at Marist. Those were also 1 o'clock starts. That drive, easy to recap, 45 yards on 1 play. It took them 19 seconds to tie this game up. Curley's 17th touchdown pass, Bolton's 2nd.
And it could be significant as the game wears on, Gary, but there appeared to be an awful lot of confusion in that Colgate secondary.
Omar Alice is back to receive this one at the 9-yard line. And now Omar trying to come to the middle, and instead he's going to get popped at about the 22 or 21-yard line. First one to get to him for Lafayette was Troy Robinson out of Kennesaw, Georgia. As he came into the game with 9 tackles on the season, he got some help from DeAndre Morrow. Good coverage by Robinson.
Yeah, and you know, Gary, I thought he took a bad angle at first. He was really coming down the field on all cylinders and did a great job to catch up.
Those are the games I mentioned to you. Again, that big one, Holy Cross at Lehigh. We'll keep you updated on that one. All of our out-of-town scores presented by Easton Coach, the Lafayette Leopards' choice for top quality motor coach service. It looks like Jordan McCord is in the ball game now. He's also outstanding sophomore running back, 863 yards on the year. He's going to get the football, and he just simply steps his way through for about 9 yards before he gets tackled by Nick Oliver and also some help from Donald Ellis. Kyle Simmons now out for the year. He had an ACL injury this week in practice. Anthony Scriveri hurt last week, not available. Nate Dixon not available. Lafayette was hit by the flu bug, but nobody got it worse than head coach Frank Devonnie.
Dick Biddle is using at times both running backs, both McCord and Eaches at the same time. They run a little play to the edge, Gary, where they show the option. In that belly series, they have the opportunity to run it between the tackles as well.
2nd and 1. Eaches also has good speed, and he got the corner and then turned it upfield to the 43. He'll pick up 11 yards. Let's go to Dan Mowdy.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary. Well, Michael Bolton 2 for 2 on 2 consecutive weeks, scoring his 2nd career touchdown. Well, he had some difficulty. All right, here we go.
All right, we're going to go down to Dan in a bit. And in fact, good news after that play. We get a hold called against Colgate. We'll take it back to the 31-yard line. So Eaches will get credit for a 9-yard pickup and then a 10-yard penalty.
The second big penalty for Colgate, but it doesn't detract. It doesn't take away from the fact, Gary, that right now their offensive line is really dictating the pace of the game. They're having their way with the Lafayette defense in front.
2nd and 2 now after the run and penalty. Sullivan keeps, and this time he doesn't go anywhere. And this time we will really go to Dan Mowdy. Here's Dan.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. You need one of these when you do sideline reporting from time to time. Michael Bolton had a little bit of an equipment emergency upon the touchdown. A headbutt from a teammate in celebrating broke one of his chin straps, so they made a quick change. He's back ready for the next series, scoring his 2nd touchdown of his career. He's 2 for 2 in consecutive weeks. Now back to you.
Dan, don't celebrate down there. You have no helmet.
And celebrations become dangerous now.
3rd and 1, and there's that second effort by Eaches. He's so hard to tackle behind the line of scrimmage. I think he got the first down as he does get hit on the play by Spencer Brown, the strong side linebacker. And John, I thought they were going to measure. They will not. They're going to give him the first down at the 33-yard line, a gain of 1.
And there's a perfect example of what we've been talking about. You have got to wrap Nick Eaches up. He just has a knack for spinning out of that initial hit. He rarely is thrown backwards. So that extra thrust gets Colgate a first down and keeps this drive alive. I'm sorry, I said Nick Eaches. I meant Nate Eaches, of course.
1st and 10 from the 33. Back to throw Sullivan. Looking over the middle, he's got a man. And guess who? Simons again. And Simons will turn it upfield. He'll get to about the 45-yard line as they'll pick up 22 yards on the play before Mark Legiro is there. Boy, talk about finding the hole in the defense. There was, again, a penalty flag, however. So we'll hold everything.
Holding on the offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
Wow, Colgate really hurting themselves with penalties. That was number 70, Will Elmore, the sophomore. John?
Yeah, and Ian Dell, this is it right here. Watch the move right in the middle of everything. He is so quick, and there's the takedown. And I'm sorry, yeah, that was Andrew Polson who was held, but he was so quick on that initial move, and I'm not sure Sullivan would have had time to get that ball off had it not been for the hold.
John, one aspect of this football team was questionable coming in, and that was their offensive line. Everybody graduated. They only had one starter back, so everybody filling in. And so far today, they've had to hold the Leopards in order to keep the Leopards from getting to their backfield. Eaches has the football. Eachus again makes a positive out of what looked like it might be a negative, but that positive was only going to be a yard. Ian Dell is there to bring him down at the 24, give him a gain of 1.
Much better penetration that time by the Lafayette defensive front. This is a football team, Gary, defensively that swarms very well to the football. But again, you know, Colgate has just enough diversity. They've got that big wideout out there. As soon as you start creeping up too many people into the box, they'll burn you with Simmons at the edge.
Well, Simmons right now is at the bottom of your screen on a passing situation. 2nd and 19. The ball is dropped and picked up immediately by Lafayette. Ian Dell with a fumble recovery, and the Leopards will get the ball deep in Colgate territory. That is the 3rd forced fumble by Ian Dell. He comes up with his first fumble recovery.
Let's see if we, hold on right here. I don't think he just moves at the very end. Nobody touches him. It was that little stunt at the very end. Great work by Tim Kafer in the truck. Let's see if we can run that thing again. And Gary, he just moves ever so slightly to his left, and it confuses. Now, hold it. You're going to see him right here. You're going to see him right here. Now, you see that move right to his left. And it really confuses the blocking assignments. He comes through untouched and creates the big turnover.
1st and 10, Lafayette from the 14-yard line of Colgate after the turnover. The handoff goes right up the middle as DeAndre Morrow, I believe, the ball carrier. It is DeAndre who's carrying the foot. No, it was Mo White.
Yeah, Mo White back in. That's good news.
Yeah,
because
Mo playing with an injured shoulder, a bruised shoulder.
So, Gary, a huge turnover, and you know, when you get teams that are so evenly matched, more often than not, it comes down to the team that's going to make the fewest mistakes, and the first big mistake belongs to the Raiders.
2nd and 7, the ball on the 11-yard line. Lafayette sends Mitchell Bennett in motion. Curley steps up, back, that's a touch. Oh, that's interference. Oh, there's no flag.
Oh, my.
Oh, that was a bad no call. As the Lafayette, everybody saw it but the officials. Watch again, right there.
Oh, yeah, and it completely throws DeAndre Morrow out of his pattern. And amazingly, because it happened right in front of the official, I don't know what he might have been looking at, maybe back into the backfield. Frank Devonnie sure can't understand it.
Boy, I yelled that's a touchdown because that was a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, it was a perfectly designed play, and only the contact on the part of the cornerback blew it up.
Bad no call by the officials. 3rd and 7 from the 11. Curley back, good protection. Firing over the middle. Touchdown, Mark Layton. Oh, what a perfect toss. Mark Layton with his 9th touchdown of the year. And again, it's Rob Curley. 2 already today, 18 on the season.
Give credit to the offensive line because Mark Layton needed time to run this slant. Watch the offensive line, Gary. Rob Curley has time to set up and allow Mark Layton to get into his pattern, and not only that, he allowed for the separation between himself and Kareem Moses, who was back there on coverage.
The extra point is up. The extra point by Davis Rodriguez is good. So Lafayette takes full advantage of the fumble recovery by Ian Dell to take it 14 yards in 3 plays. Dan Mounty has a report.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. Taking a look at these two teams coming in. Both have Patriot League contests of similar opponents. Fordham, for one, a pretty good school for football. Lafayette able to face off against Fordham and come out with a win, 26-21. Colgate beating Fordham 20-12. Similar scores. If you look at the offense versus defense, Lafayette comes out on top offensively versus Colgate facing Fordham. +6 for the Lafayette Leopards. Colgate comes out as a tougher defensive team, -9. If you take both opponents combined, it's pretty similar. Lafayette comes out +3 on the offense, and Lafayette wins the defensive battle too, holding both Georgetown and Fordham to a combined 2 points less than Colgate. Now back to you.
All right, thank you very much. As there you get a look at the scores from last week. Colgate beats Lehigh in a squeaker. Holy Cross over Fordham. Lafayette over Bucknell. It sets up what is really a championship sequence now for Lafayette. This game, Holy Cross next week, and of course Lehigh, the 145th edition in just 2 weeks. We'll be there for all of them, and we know you'll be there with us. Cosgrove's kickoff taken at about the 15-yard line, and there's Mark Legiro to say hello to the ball carrier for Colgate. As the Gate is going to get the ball 1st and 10, it looks like at about their own 34-yard line.
You know, Gary, the characteristic about this football team this year has been its senior leadership, and these kids who have been here for 4 years, they've been surrounded by some phenomenal players. I mean, 3 and 4 years ago, it was Brad Maurer, you remember that quarterback, and Rob Curley has filled his shoes so well and made his own mark as a dominant Lafayette football player. But Mark Legiro is another one. Mike Wojcik, the offensive center. It'd be great to see these kids go out on a high note.
Sullivan gives the ball to Eachus. Eachus will get a couple. And the entire middle of that Lafayette defensive unit. Talking to John Luce before the ball game, I said, John, defensively, what unit, the defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary, what unit really needs to play their best game today? And he didn't even hesitate, that defensive line.
I don't think the words were out of your mouth. I was with you when you asked that question, and he had no hesitation whatsoever. And Gary, it's not necessarily that those guys have to make plays, but they've got to play well and at least create that stalemate that allows the linebackers to make plays.
2nd and 7 now from the 37. Lafayette shows blitz. As again, Eachus has it. Legiro wraps him up. He's not going to get to the first down marker. Lafayette saying there was a fumble on the play, but I don't see any indication of that by the officials. Looks like they're going to mark it at about the 44, maybe the 43. They'll put it at the 44, a gain of about 6.5.
Let's take a look at it and see if we can get it. Mark Legiro wraps him up. His Schmidline is underneath, and can't tell from this angle. I'll tell you, it's very close. His knee may have been down. The judge on the far side had a pretty good look at it.
3rd and about a half a yard. Well, that guy normally can get a half a yard for you, and I think he did. Nate Eachus carries. He'll pick up the 2. He only needed 1.
We don't have the numbers, I don't think, Gary, but I suspect one of the things that makes Colgate so tough is their conversion rate, especially on 3rd and short.
You think I don't have that?
Okay.
They're 68 for 140, 49% of the time, John.
That
is
get a
not. First down.
That is not.
That's terrific.
49%.
49% on 3rd down.
Oh, on 3rd down. Okay. Okay. Of course. I was thinking 3rd and short, but it seems to me that 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 would be higher. Oh, look at Sullivan on the
Sullivan on a fake. That's the problem. You're so worried about the cord and also so worried about Eachus that when Sullivan keeps the ball, it's really one shot at him, and he's a good runner. Brandon Ellis is the one who made the tackle, a gain of 14.
Okay, now everybody's going to watch Nate Eachus as he goes this way. Watch the defense. Hold on. You said it, Gary. Everybody comes this way, and then Sullivan right out to the edge. You've got to respect the run between the tackles, and Nate Eachus is so effective at it. You know, you can call them one-dimensional in terms of running game, but they're so diverse in that running game.
These two teams combined average 56 points a game, and it may be one of those games. 1st and 10 from the 41. Here comes Eachus. This time he is met, first of all, by Eric McGovern, who got down around his knees, and then obviously Lafayette with pretty good pursuit as Andrew Polson there to help clean up, a gain of 2.
And one of the keys for both of these defensive units, Gary, is, as it is all the time, is winning first down. And that time Lafayette's defense holds serve. Now it's 2nd down and long.
Eachus has already carried a dozen times. We're 2:22 to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 8. It's Eachus. And again, he gets hit 1 yard across the line of scrimmage, does that spin move that he's so good at, and he just is so strong in his lower body that he's that tough to bring down. He'll pick up 6.
Watch how low to the ground he stays right here, Gary. He uses that hand to maintain balance, spins out of a tackle, and picks up easily 4 or 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and short. It was a 6-yard gain.
Let's go, D! Let's go, D!
3rd and 2 from the 33-yard line. Leopards loading up the box a bit. They've got 8 people in the box.
This is where they can be dangerous with Simmons.
And a penalty flag. And we must have had some movement along the line of scrimmage. This has to be against Colgate based on who threw the flag.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
A penalty called on Zach Posey, a 6'2 senior.
Left guard, top of the screen. He just pulled back ever so slightly, Gary, and you know, the offensive linemen, they want to get that jump off the ball. That's that determines your leverage. And if you can get a quick enough start, and sometimes they're a little over anxious, can't move before the snap of the football.
Boy, 4 penalties, 35 yards. One they overcame with a touchdown. They did not overcome the other 2. Now let's see if they overcome this one on a 3rd and 7 from the 38. Sullivan back. He flips to the sideline. I don't think that's a good catch. It is not. And Colgate will look at a 4th down situation. Looks like they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to play field position here. You know, it's a long throw, Gary, from the near hash to the sideline. Lafayette had it defended well. The penalty really put Colgate in a tough spot because, you know, they're not as effective when they have to throw the ball, much more effective when they choose to throw the ball.
The punter is Trevor Lawler. Trevor Lawler averages 34.2 punts per game, per yards per game.
Block is on here.
And he has kicked inside the 24 times this year, and he's going to get a 5th, I think. The ball will be down at the 1-yard line. Downing it was Zach Lasavage. They'll put it at the 2, and that will be a 36-yard punt.
That's exactly what Dick Biddle was looking for from his special teams unit. They've got Lafayette backed up now, and you know, Gary, it's been the big play for the Leopards to this point. They've not been able to solve the front 7 of Colgate. So if ever they could solve that riddle, now's the time to do it, because if you're Colgate, you're thinking this drive is still alive, a 3 and out, and they stand to get great field position.
So Rob Curley will work out of the I formation. He'll go under center on a 1st and 10 from Lafayette's 2-yard line. No room for error here. Pump fake, they're going to go big. Up top, deep. And that ball, penalty flag, reaching out. I'll tell you, Colgate is penalizing themselves to death here. Corey Moses just simply grabbed the intended receiver, and that's going to be a big penalty at the point of the foul, I believe.
Yeah, it was a double move, and Mark Lake, let's listen.
Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
They'll tack on 15. 5 penalties, 50 yards against Colgate.
Well, we didn't see it right there, but Rob Curley pump fake. On the pump fake, it was a double move on the outside by Layton, and Colgate got caught. It was Corey Moses who bit on the pump fake, and as Mark Layton was running by him, he simply reached out and grabbed him.
I think Rob was telling the truth. His shoulder looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
The only incomplete pass should have been a pass interference call. He'll hand the ball off to Rudolph. Nice hole. Rudolph gets the corner and then takes a pretty good lick at the 20 as he'll pick up 3 yards on the carry. He's knocked out of bounds by Colgate's Zach Smith, the outside linebacker, who came into the game with an interception this year and 36 tackles, 4th on the team. Just a gain of 2.
You know, Gary, a gain of 2. The play at its onset looked like it could go for more, but give credit to the Colgate defense because they got to the edge in a hurry. I thought when Rudolph took the handoff, he was going to get the edge.
30 seconds now to go in the 1st quarter. Lafayette by 7, looking at a 2nd and 8. Curley back, looking, pump fake. Now he's looking, running around. Can he find anybody? He'll get out of bounds. Smart play by the senior quarterback, as he'll step out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Yeah, and that was about the pass rush. Good pressure on Rob Curley that time because Greg Stripe came wide open over the middle. He had a safety on him during a pattern down the middle of the field, but Rob Curley had to bail out of the pocket and could not see him.
Well, Hayes, Bennett, and Padilla just checked into the huddle. I think it's a pass play, John.
I think so, although you never know because when you spread out that defense, sometimes Frank will try to cross you up and go with a little quarterback draw.
1st quarter is in the books, and we've had some scoring. It started with the gate. That's Simmons. Then it's Bolton. And then you can't have a Lafayette football game without Mark Layton catching a touchdown pass. 14-7 Leopards. You're watching Lafayette football on the Lafayette Sports Network. There you get a look at next week's schedule, and the game at the top is the big one. Lafayette Holy Cross. John and I will travel to Worcester, Massachusetts. Balmy Worcester for that ball game. We'll have it for you live. 3rd and 8 for Lafayette. They want to get out of here. They don't want to give the ball up. So they won't. They get it to Layton. 1st down. And Layton will fall forward to the 32-yard line. as that will be a Lafayette gain of 13 and a first down. Tackle made by Garrington Spence, also helping out Greg Hadley. Move the chain.
We've talked a lot about how Rob Curley spreads the ball around to so many of his different receivers, but Gary, the season really started off with Mark Layton being the primary go-to guy and the big play guy. And if there is one person with whom Rob Curley has a certain degree of chemistry, it's got to be number 8, and there's another example of it.
Curley, 3 for 4 for 69 yards. The ball on the 32-yard line. Curley back screen pass.
Oh,
set up beautifully. Jerome Rudolph. He's looking for a block. He got it. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Jerome Rudolph will get knocked out of bounds on a perfectly executed screen pass from Rob Curley. The officials are going to mark it at the 23-yard line. A pickup of 45 yards and a first down.
Everything is going this way. Everything. Watch the run play, and then Rob Curley's vision, everything's, and then look at come. There's no white shirts. Hold on. There's like one white shirt right out here, and he waits and he lets Mark Layton. You see the patience in the run game, and we've talked a lot about the wide receivers from Lafayette blocking so well. What a perfectly executed play.
First and 10, Lafayette from the 23, a drive that started on their own 2-yard line. Carrying the ball is Tyrell Kuhn. Tyrell will get maybe a yard on the play before he is tackled by Greg Hadley. Hadley, number 1 on the team in tackles, came in with 54 of them. And Lafayette will look at a 2nd and 9.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the challenges that Colgate presents as a football team. Gary, it just, things become increasingly, exponentially more difficult if you get behind this football team because of their ability to run the ball. Conversely, if you can get a 1 or 2 score lead on this team, it really puts them under the gun.
They're going to sweep to the right side. Again, it's Tyrell Kuhn carrying down to the 17. He'll pick up 5 yards. Lafayette's going to look at a 3rd and 4. Hadley again on the tackle, along with Garrington Spence. Did I hear you say exponentially?
I said exponentially because I meant like a lot.
I'm used to you saying a lot. You must be studying that
Right,
Merriam-Webster again.
I don't know. Well, you know, I'm boning up on my vocabulary. But to complete it, I guess it's easiest to say Colgate is not a team that's built to come from behind this.
See, now I get you.
There.
3rd and 4. And the ball off, and they will not get the first down. So where's Davis Rodriguez? They'll bring him in. Hadley in on the tackle. And Davis, depending on the spot, looks like they're going to mark it at the 16. So a gain of a yard. Go back 7. That'll take it back to the 23. Add 10. That's a 33-yard field goal attempt. For Davis Rodriguez, he comes in 6 out of 14.
A lot of those misses early on, Gary. I think last week he hit a big one. I guess it was 2 weeks ago in the bad weather. Let's see. Big kick here for the youngster.
Chris Cosgrove holds. It's down. It's up. It's long enough. And it is perfect. 11:59 on the clock. The Leopards add 3. There's a little distance at 17-7. You're watching Lafayette football on the Lafayette Sports Network. Stay with us. Let's hit you with a quick fact. Colgate and Lafayette rank 1st and 3rd in the nation in time of possession. How are they doing today? Well, Lafayette leads 17-7. They're 5 minutes behind. Well, really 4 behind in time of possession. Sometimes that number doesn't mean a lot.
No, especially when you pull off a couple of big plays, which is just what Lafayette has done to hold a 10-point lead in the early going. A lot of football left to be played, though.
8 plays, 82 yards was that drive. Lafayette started it on. Oh, there's a fumble, and it's going to be Colgate with the football. Otis gave the ball up as hitting him was number 52, Ben Eaton. And let's go back and take a look at that fumble.
But how about Ben Eaton's hit, Gary? Watch this. This is an old-fashioned, not only does he, right here, I mean, that's just putting your shoulder down and jarring the ball loose. And I think, yeah, that was, it was Butler. It was.
With the hit.
Yeah, Butler made the hit. Eaton wrapped him up.
From the 23 now, Colgate finds themselves down by 10. Remember, Lafayette last year led this team 10-0. Had a chance to go up 17-0 in the 3rd quarter and fumbled the ball on the Colgate 6-yard line, and the Gate came back to win that ball game. So you're never at ease. That's why Nate Eachus, again, grinds his way to the 33-yard line. John, let's go back and look at the key plays in that last drive.
Yeah, and you know what? Lafayette executed things so well. There's the big third down pass to Mark Layton over the middle, and then the perfectly executed screen pass. You and I nearly came out of our shoes because as soon as this play unfolded, we knew that Jerome Rudolph had an awful lot of room on that side of the field. So Lafayette with a drive. Colgate's defense stiffened near the end, held them to 3, but Lafayette, nevertheless, a 10-point lead here into the second period.
Colgate already with 95 yards on the ground. Lafayette gives up 90.6 yards per game. As there's Eachus, again driving and driving to the 40. He'll pick up 8 and a Colgate first down. Tackled on the play by Michael Phillips. First time we called his name today. He's out of Thornton, Pennsylvania.
Gary, you've heard the phrase running downhill, and it's kind of more of the modern terminology that's used, but Nate Eachus, it personifies that as we take a look at offensive line coach Stan Clayton talking to his charges. They've done a great job so far in the early going, but boy, I'll tell you what, this Colgate running game is everything it's cracked up to be.
And they can strike quickly with Simmons also back to throw. And looking is Sullivan. Putting it up in the air. That looks like it's up for grabs. And here comes a penalty flag against Lafayette. As Simmons was being face guarded, Lafayette did not know where the football was. Well, let's see. I mean, we're going to assume it's against the Leopards.
McGovern
it
and
is
Carlos
against
Lowe.
the Leopards.
Yeah, McGovern and Carlos Lowe are arguing vehemently that they had position. Let's listen.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Let me call on Brandon Ellis. Let's take a look at it with Simmons at the top of your screen.
Good position here. Good position here. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Oh, that was a headlock. I think he learned that one from Nate Eachus. Wouldn't you say he was the wrestler? And Pat Simmons simply got Ellis in a half Nelson.
Officials haven't had a particularly good game so far. They've missed a couple of pass interference plays, and one there that maybe they missed going the wrong way. First and 10 from the 45. Carrying it is Eachus. How did he turn that into a positive?
Oh, he was wrapped up in the backfield, but again, he has a way of gathering himself and lunging forward. Hardly ever gets thrown back.
Gain it 2.
Let's take a look at it again. Here you see good penetration by the Leopards. They're the maroon shirts. Ian Dell has a hand on him, and then Weitzel finishes him off, but not before he just picks up a couple.
16th carry. John Bowman's going to run out of room. I even gave him extra spaces this week for Eachus and McCourt. But we haven't seen much of Jordan McCourt. He just has that one carry for 9 yards. Eachus, who just loves the work. There he goes. That's a touchdown. 20, 15, 10. He's going to get in for the TD. 43-yard run. Nate Eachus.
Touchdown for the Raiders.
9:55 on the clock, and Colgate will get to within 3.
Yeah, okay, here's Mark Legero. Watch him on the blitz right here. Now hold on. Eachus is going to cut back this way, right to the area where Mark Legero usually patrols. But they got caught in the blitz, did Lafayette, and Eachus, on a perfect call against that defense, ran right into the teeth of that blitz.
That is his 11th touchdown of the year, as the extra point is good. And John, that already, we have to remember, this kid is a sophomore. He already has 21 touchdowns in his career.
And you know, Gary, he was a player in high school. And hard to figure this out, how a kid with those kinds of numbers that he put up at Hazleton would fly under the radar. But Lafayette kind of overlooked him, and you think he might have a little extra in the tank coming down here.
Well, why don't we go back and look at last year's Lafayette-Colgate game. It occurred on November 8th when we traveled to Hamilton, New York. Joe Russo's fan club was there, John.
Yeah, the Utica Moose. And I'll tell you, he did not disappoint. He got on the board right away. Lafayette took an early lead. The TD catch did put Lafayette up 7-0. They took a 10-0 lead on the field goal, but Nate Eachus really had a great day. He ran for 2 DDs. Greg Sullivan had a 35-yard run right here. That puts Colgate up for good, and Colgate went on to win a big one, 21-13.
Yeah, Lafayette had a chance to make it 17-0 and fumbled the ball on the Colgate 6-yard line. There you get a look at Eachus's numbers. If you don't know his story, he came in here as a starting linebacker as a freshman.
I think about the third game of the year last year. The tailback got hurt, and he stepped over and gained about 234 yards. Yeah, Jordan Scott, who holds all of the career rushing records at Colgate, he was the guy that got hurt, and it was pretty hard at times for Scott to get back as this tailback.
Yeah, it was Colgate's version of the Wally Pipp story. You know, of course, Wally Pipp, the guy who was replaced, he came to work one day with an upset stomach, and the guy who replaced him was Lou Gehrig, who went on to set a record as the Iron Man of baseball.
Here's the call on the
Free kick out of bounds.
kick out of bounds.
On the kicking team. Penalty will be enforced at the 40-yard line, right hash, first down and 10, Lafayette.
Never a bad spot to start a drive.
No, and you know what? In the early going, Dick Biddle cannot be pleased with the execution of his football team. The run game is what we thought it would be, but in terms of penalties and special teams play,
Mental errors.
Yeah, Colgate has not helped itself. They're lucky to be down by only 3, I believe.
Mo White in the backfield. Good to see Mo there. As we mentioned, he bruised his shoulder and also suffered from the flu bug this week. He's in there. He'll get the fake. Curley back. Curley's in trouble. He'll go down. The first sack of the football game. Curley this year has been sacked 14, now 15 times. Getting that sack is Paul Mancuso. That's his, he has 2.5 sacks now on the season.
Gary, you hear plays referred to as coverage sacks, and that's exactly what this was, because Rob Curley probably had 3 to 5 seconds to get rid of that football, but there was nobody open in the secondary, and eventually the protection broke down.
You get to see Mitchell Bennett catch a football, and we're used to seeing him being very active in the game. Curley back. This time, the protection breaks down again. As getting around the offensive lineman and making that stick one more time is 66. So back-to-back sacks by Mancuso as he now goes to 3.5. And Curley, who we said came in with a bad shoulder, looks like he got banged up.
Yeah, dragging it a little bit. He's going to go back to the huddle, but this is not a covered sack. This is a defensive line sack, a great stunt on the right edge. Lafayette's O-line gets beat, and Curley pays the price. 3rd down and very long.
Usually a screen opportunity here. They may not want to get Curley hit again on an obvious passing situation, but he'll step back. Here comes the blitz. He'll step up and fire. He's got a man downfield in Layton. Is it an interception? It is indeed. Catching the ball is Corey Moses, his 3rd interception of the year, and Lafayette's first turnover for Rob Curley. That is his 8th thrown interception.
Yeah, and you know what? They've been picking on Moses a little bit. That time Moses wins the day, but this is just a one-on-one coverage, right sideline. Rob Curley throws it up. Not a terrible turnover in this situation because a punt may not have netted them any more yardage anyway. They took a chance with their playmaker, Mark Layton, and the resulting turnover gives Colgate the football at about the 36.
So both teams have turned the ball over once, and as John mentioned, not as bad as it could have been. Lafayette on an incomplete pass would have punted the football anyway. And Colgate with 8:29 to work with. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts left. Now we're going to get a whistle, and I think a timeout called by Colgate. So a rather unusual timeout called at this point when the ball was turned over. Kareem Moses with that interception. Good for him, his 3rd. And there we get a look at another quick fact. Colgate played in the NCAA 1AA championship game in 2003. They lost to Delaware. They won the championship that year. And let's go down to Dan Malley. The cheerleaders are celebrating Blackout Day. Here's Dan.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary. You know, nobody on the sidelines is wearing a whole lot of white or any other colors other than the players, perhaps. Carissa, tell us a little bit about what's going on with the cheerleaders. You guys have been gearing up for this all week long.
We sure have. The girls helped the promotions department this week with the blackout. They made T-shirts. They promoted the event in Farranon by handing out tickets and black beads all week. And today they have black pom-poms and black hair ribbons.
Which were overnighted to get here in time today. Carissa Rowe, the head coach of the cheerleading squad and the dance troupe. Good job this week.
Thank you.
Let's bring it back up top.
And Carissa has black eyes.
Yeah, you know what? Carissa needs a little more enthusiasm in her life. She needs to show a little more passion with her job. She is a breath of fresh air.
I don't know if they're going to call that a forward pass. Simons has it. It really was behind quarterback Sullivan, so we'll just wait till the official numbers come up. O'Neal, by the way, Ryan O'Neal is warming up for Lafayette. We thought that Rob Curley got that shoulder bruised, as you get a look at Rob, and they're looking at that right arm. That was a gain of 4 on the pass. Or are they going to call it a rush? They will, and rightfully so. That was not a forward pass. 2nd and 6 from the 40.
Twin backs now. I think McCord and Eachus are both back there with Sullivan.
That can't be good news. Here comes Eachus. And he'll run away. He's got good speed. Mark Legiro can usually catch up to people when he has that kind of angle, and Eachus would not allow him to get to him. So he'll pick up 4.
Yeah, they stretched it out, Gary, just as long as they could. You see Legiro and Jarosky trying to do that. And here's Ellis trying to fight off a block downfield and finally makes the play.
So here's a big 3rd and 2. Looked like wide receiver Pat Simmons might have been holding there.
Same formation.
Officials may be a little flag shy right now to call another hold against Colgate. Eachus, 1st down and more. Watch out. There goes Nate Eachus as he gets the ball inside the Lafayette 40, down to the 39-yard line, as he'll pick up another 17. Donald Ellis in on the tackle. He is just an unbelievable runner.
Yeah, and Lafayette has so many folks in the box, and what happens, Gary, when you pop that first level of defense, if the linebackers are stunting or coming on a blitz, there's no second level to stop a kid like Nate Eachus, and he's piling up huge numbers.
1st and 10 from the 39. Eachus with 143 yards rushing. Give the ball to McCord. Now he's got a little bit of blocking in front of him, but this time Lafayette gets around those blocks. Tackle made by Michael Phillips. He'll gain a yard.
Better penetration that time by the Leopards, but you know, Gary, what happens is, you know, Colgate's the kind of team that can impose its will on a defense, and they are beginning to pound that football, and you worry that over the course of a game, a defense begins to wear down. So at some point, Lafayette's defense has got to get itself off the football field.
And usually in a situation, they'll fake the ball. Lafayette will be looking for the run, and then Sullivan goes to Simmons. That's their MO. Sullivan doesn't keep. He gives it to Eachus. And this time, Nate doesn't get much. He'll get about a yard, maybe 2, as hitting him was Mike Schmidline. And the officials will mark it at the 36-yard line, a gain of 2.
Take a look at some of the interested fans here at Fisher Stadium. Having a lot of fun today. Great day for football. A great day to be out here, and 2 great football teams going at it.
Lehigh Holy Cross 10-10. That should be close to the end of the first half. From the 36, 3rd and 7. Simmons looks like he is calling an audible. Trips to the top of your screen. He's back. He's looking to his left, and that's a perfect throw. Catching the football for Colgate is Ty Henry, his 11th catch of the year. And Ty Henry catches the ball at the 25-yard line, an 11-yard pickup before being tackled by Brandon Ellis.
Yeah, and Brandon Ellis did all he could on coverage. It was just a perfectly executed out pattern, and Colgate picks up a big 1st down.
He got 12 on the play. 1st down, number 11 for Colgate. From the 24, Colgate trying to get the lead back. They led 7-0. Lafayette ran off 17 unanswered. This time, Nate just couldn't quite get the legs churning as Lafayette collapsed that offensive line. As, again, it looked like Mike Phillips was there to kind of do the leaning. Loss of a yard.
It's the old belly series, Gary, and Greg Sullivan sticks the ball into the gut of Nate Eachus, and be careful because when we start to key on Nate Eachus off that belly series, Greg Sullivan will just pull the ball back and run to the edge. Remember, he's a 1,000-yard rusher in his own right.
That's the 2nd negative yardage play for Eachus in the game. This time he'll get hit at about the 22, pick up 3. They're going to look at a 3rd and 8. Tackle made by Eric McGovern. Good to see him back. He was home last week with the flu. Brother Evan went home this week with the flu.
Yeah, right side of your screen. Watch him come up and run support, and that's just great reaction by McGovern because, you know, you don't want Eachus getting to the edge. It's going to be 3rd down now and long.
Ball on the 21-yard line. They've got to get to the 14. 3rd and 7. Clock running 3:40. Lafayette shows just 3 defensive linemen down. Backfiring. Ooh, that's a nice catch. Now Lafayette trying to separate the receiver, Ty Henry, from the football. And I don't know if he made the first down or not. It's very, very close.
Yeah, it all depends on, as you say, Gary, the right foot spot or the left foot spot. But this is a great catch by Henry. He very nearly drops it, but he does a great job to get to secure it at all. But you're right, it's going to be a matter of a length of a football. So they'll run the length of the field,
and it's going to be good enough for a first down.
Well, give credit, because that's the quarterback and receiver knowing exactly how much yardage they needed.
I'll give you an interesting quick fact. Nate Eaches has more rushing touchdowns, now 21, than any Lafayette player or all the Lafayette players combined. So he has, I mean, in his career, he's just a sophomore. He has more than any Lafayette player, and that includes a bunch of seniors. 1st and 10 from the 14 on that 7-yard pass completion. Rolling, Sullivan looking for Simon. No, that is going to be caught by Doug Rosnick. Rosnick has the ball at the 2-yard line, as that will be a 12-yard pickup.
Boy, this is just a well-designed play. It's everybody rolling to the right. The offensive line and the wideouts doing a nice job to buy Sullivan time, and just a perfectly run route. Colgate, now Rosnick pulls it in. Nice hands catch at the 1-yard line.
They're going to say the ball was at the 1, so give him 13 on the pass play. 1st and goal to go. Who might you go to here?
How about Eaches?
Yeah, good call. He'll get the 1-yard touchdown, and Colgate will get the lead back as they'll take it to 20-17 as Nate Eaches picks up his 2nd touchdown of the ball game, his 22nd of his career.
Well, Gary, this game is developing into everything we thought it might be. These are 2 heavyweights going toe-to-toe, and it's just going to be a matter of one team answering the other. And the one left standing at the end, well, you know, I have a feeling this is what we're going to be in for all afternoon.
The big question mark is whether Rob Curley will be able to come back out on the field. The extra point by Evan Colburn is good. He's 3 for 3, and Colgate has 3 touchdowns. They lead it 21-17 with 2:40 to go. Well, there you get a look at the rushing situation. Lafayette with 11 net yards rushing. Eaches with 149. Colgate with 174. That's Colgate football. That's Dick Biddle football.
They've done it year in and year out, and the names change, but the numbers stay the same.
Evan Colburn will kick it off. DeAndre Morrow and Jerome Rudolph. Rudolph already has a 48-yard return. He's going to get a chance again, this time at the 15-yard line. Coming up the middle, looks for a hole, and he'll break through to about the 33 or 34. Lafayette with 2:35 to work with, and all 3 of their timeouts.
You know, it is, I think Ryan O'Neal is wandering over to where the offensive unit is gathering. We see both quarterbacks. Rob Curley's there as well. It looks like it's going to be Rob.
They'll put the ball at the 34. Rob has that mentality of a gladiator. Now the question is, does he have the body and shoulder to throw the football? Lafayette finds themselves trailing for the 2nd time in this ball game.
Well, those of us who've been around Rob Curley know just how tough a young man he is.
1st and 10. Back. It's Rudolph. Ooh, he got popped immediately. Good play by 25, Dimitri Diamond, the cornerback, who is just a freshman. Remember that name. He'll be around for a bit. Completed pass, no gain.
Yeah, Rob looked okay delivering the football. The problem for the Leopards was that Colgate had it so well defended. They were man up on the edge, and both receivers were covered well.
Clock is running. Back over the middle. He's got a man wide open to Mitchell Bennett. And Mitchell Bennett will immediately get hit by Mike Barry, who makes that tackle, but not before. They'll move the chains. That'll stop the clock. for a bit at 2:05. Lafayette ready to go. 24-yard pickup.
Yeah, and it will also stop any discussion of our issues about Rob Curley's arm, because he threw a laser that time to Mitchell Bennett. Big first down for the Leopards.
From the 42-yard line. Rob back. He's got a man, Mitchell Bennett again, on an out pattern. That'll stop the clock as he'll get knocked out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Making the hit is Mike Barry, as that will be a 20-yard pickup.
Just a great throw, because the ball is out of Rob Curley's hand before Mitchell Bennett even comes out of his break. But Mitchell Bennett has such confidence in his quarterback that he will be on time with a throw. He's looking for the football as soon as he turns back. Great execution.
Not sure why the clock was running in that situation.
Yeah, Mitchell Bennett ran out of bounds, and it's
he
under.
did.
Yeah,
I think the official's going to put some time on the clock.
Yeah.
Please reset the game clock to 1:45. The play clock to 25 seconds. Both clocks. Correction. The game clock will start on the snap.
That's the right call, as Mike Sechrist clears things up. Bennett did get knocked out of bounds. Should have stopped the clock until the ball snapped again. Coming up, of course, is the MetLife halftime report. Molly will be interviewing a person who will be a newly inducted Hall of Fame member very shortly. Back to throw, Rob. He'll get the rush, and it's touchdown. Oh, what a nice drive executed by Rob Curley. Nathan Padilla with his touchdown catch. Nathan Padilla, that one covers 23 yards.
You know, Gary, there's been a lot of talk, and there will be at halftime, about the stunningly low rushing yards that Lafayette has put up. But you know, sometimes you just have to take what the defense can give you. And right now, that is a very porous defensive secondary from Colgate. So Rob Curley is taking what Colgate gives us and really making them pay through the air.
I just hope he didn't score too early.
Oh, yeah.
140 on the clock, 4 plays, 66 yards. And once again, Rob Curley finding a whole bunch of receivers. That's Nate Padilla's first career touchdown.
Hard to believe, but Rob Curley has caught fire, Gary, and this after a hit that he took that we wondered whether or not he would stay in the game, but he came in, answered the bell, and take a look at what he put together on the last drive. This is a laser over the middle to Mitchell Bennett. Here's another one, sideline to Mitchell Bennett. And then this one, Nathan Padilla. Once you start keying in on Leighton or Bennett, Nathan Padilla is lurking in the wings, as is Kyle Hayes. We talked about the number of receivers and the way that young fella spreads the ball around.
Rob's third of the game, is 35th of his career. Here's Dan Mowdy.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. We're here with Bradley Wilson. He's the food and beverage director for Vintage, the winner of this year's chili cook-off contest. Bradley, tell us a little bit about the special ingredients of this year's chili winner.
Well, this year the chef decided to do a smoked beef brisket, as well as some smoked ham shanks, ground pork, and then we did about 2 gallons of lager in it as well to really give that nice little flavor. Added a few little spices in there, had a nice little kick. It did well this year.
Excellent. Vintage now 2 consecutive years champion, 3 overall. Now back to you guys.
On the kickoff, the ball is picked up at about the 8-yard line as it's Omar Ayers carrying the ball. He's just a freshman. Troy Robinson again with good special teams play as a Colgate player gets up limping. And so that's number 33, Gigi Cadet, who is their fullback.
Gary, you know, we were involved in some other technical stuff here, but I just want that interview, Dan Mowdy's last interview, I don't know if you got, it was very loud in our headset, but that was a great description of some unbelievable chili. The ham shanks and the lager, the 2 gallons of lager, it gave a little kick. I don't know what he was describing.
Does this mean you might be late for the third quarter?
It didn't sound like chili at all.
All right, 1 minute and 35. And they give the ball to Eachus. He runs right into Alan Weitzel. And the Lafayette fans now applaud their defense. Boy, this has been a back and forth thriller, and we're not through the first half yet. Also Ian Dell in there. And Lafayette's going to call a timeout. That's confidence in your D, John.
Yeah, you know, Gary, we talked a lot about the record over the last several years. Gary, this game is played late in the season. It always means something, and we have these kinds of battles, it seems, year in and year out with Colgate.
The Lafayette Sports Network has provided unparalleled coverage of Leopard athletics for 12 years. Fans can purchase DVDs of all telecasts for the past few seasons, as well as a few memorable telecasts from years gone by. So watch that great game whenever you want. Shop the GoLeopards.com DVD store today.
There's the best seat in the house right there. You've got to love that. I mean, can you believe it's November 7th? Look at my man. He just needs a beach towel and surrounded by all of his closest friends.
Soaking up some rays. No gain on that last play. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Minute and 25. Both teams now with 2 timeouts left.
Look at this formation, Gary. Colgate really spreading them out. This does not look like a run between the tackles.
They took a timeout there, so that'll be interesting to see how that affects them. Sullivan hit by Legiro, as he'll pick up a few to the 36, about 4 yards. Also, Alan Weitzel there. And Lafayette will call another timeout.
Yeah, Frank Devonnie is thinking, let's get that football back. And, Gary, as I suggested, well, let's go down to Dan Mowdy first.
All right, John, thanks a lot. It's interesting. Both these teams have bye weeks, but what did they do for them? Lafayette's bye week was in week number 1. It allowed them to prepare better for their first contest against Georgetown, seeing Georgetown play before they had to. Colgate's bye comes at the end of the regular season. That kind of creates a quandary. You're always expecting to make the FCF playoffs if your bye is at the end of the season, and then you do have some time to prepare. But for who? You won't know who you're preparing for, and you may not even know if you're in the FCS until the final week of the regular season. So you could be practicing for a week, and then the season's over without a game. Now back to you.
All right, Dan Mowdy, thank you very much. 3rd and 6 from the 36.
Gary, I started to say that last formation, as this one, doesn't necessarily look like a run play, but when you spread the defense out like this, it gives a guy like Nate Eachus a lot more room to wander. So let's see what they do.
Lafayette has to hold them here. They want the ball back. Sullivan back to throw. He'll step up. He's going down. A sack by Lafayette.
Paulson.
As it is Andrew Paulson, who comes in with his 3rd sack of the ball of the year.
That's just a great play by Andrew Paulson. Lafayette only brought 3 linemen. Take a look at it, Gary. They don't really bring a whole lot of people. Jurowski's on the inside. There's Polson with his arm tackle, and it's just enough, Gary, to get Sullivan on the ground and force Colgate to give the ball back to the Leopards.
How about, John, the chutzpah to call timeout by Lafayette when Colgate has the football, and it absolutely works to perfection. They're going to get the ball back.
That might be one of the strangest statistics, the strangest situations. Look at Colgate's rushing yards, and here's Lafayette calling timeouts to get it back.
All right, good time for the trivia question then. It's presented by Vitamin Water. They remind everyone to hydrate responsibly with Vitamin Water. Coach Devonnie was 5-1 in his 3 championship seasons, 04, 05, and 06. Colgate was the single defeat in 04 and 05. Who gave the Leopards their single defeat in 06?
Because that's when we beat Colgate. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Ponder that one, Mr. Leon.
This should be easy.
I rate this as a medium difficult trivia question. Medium.
Yeah, I'll get this one. I think I have it. Oh, God, it's between 2 teams.
They'll punt it away. The punter, Trevor Lawler. Padilla back, not a great punt.
He shanked it.
See if they get a good bounce. It will. They're going to let as much time run off the clock as they can. It'll be whistled dead at the 48-yard line. A 22-yard punt. Lafayette now in good position at the very least to maybe grab a field goal here before the end of the first half.
Well, they used up the timeouts on defense. Of course, they had to give themselves this opportunity. But as you remember, in college football, on every first down, that clock is going to stop. Rob Curley can't spike it. So this is completely doable, especially the way Rob Curley is shredding this Colgate defense through the air.
1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Curley last drive just needed 1 minute to score a touchdown. Back to throw, great protection. Has a man open over the middle. Catching it is Kyle Hayes. As Kyle Hayes gets his 6th catch of the season. Tackled on the play by Nicosia.
You're right, Gary. That was all about the protection and the discipline of the offense to sprint downfield, get lined up. Great use of the clock right here.
Gain of 12. Back to throw. Looking down the sideline. Padilla. And that ball is knocked down. Good coverage supplied by Dimitri Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond did a nice job, but so did Nathan Padilla, because at that point, Nathan Padilla almost became like the defensive back. Diamond almost makes the play, but Padilla does a nice job to actually break it up.
The wind was blowing a little bit left to right. Right now, the flags are absolutely still, so no advantage either way. And if you are wondering what they have to do for Davis Rodriguez, he has a 47-yarder in his career. That's his longest. That occurred last year. He has a 42-yard field goal this season.
All four wideouts in the pattern now.
Stepping up, Curley looking over the middle, and almost intercepted. Trying to come back for it was Padilla, and Rob tried to kind of guess where he might be. It ended up almost being intercepted by Zach Smith.
Yeah, here's the slant. Rob Curley buys himself some time, and at this point you're depending on your receiver to either make a play or at the very least break up any interception.
3rd and 10. So we're thinking about maybe a 40-yard field goal. They've got to get the ball to about the 23-yard line. So to do that, they need a play of about 13 yards. Back to throw. Looking, stepping up. Curley, good running room. Curley, oh my! What a play by the senior quarterback. Oh, what a play! Steps out of bounds at the 17-yard line. A 19-yard pickup and a first down, 30 seconds on the clock.
All the kid seems to do is win. Everybody covered downfield. Gary, he's just in a whole mass of Colgate defenders, but he has the speed and the quickness and the vision to get out of trouble and pick up a huge first down. There's 30 seconds left. A lot of time they are certainly within field goal range, but they're thinking bigger thoughts than that right now.
He's already tied his career high for touchdowns in a game with 3 of them. We're still in the first half, and he's looking to put number 4 up before Lafayette heads to the locker room.
Boy, Kyle Hayes is
back to throw, down to the corner, Padilla, no! Just off his fingertips, coverage supplied by Diamond. He got his hands on it.
Yeah, and it just inches away from a touchdown because Mitchell Bennett has a step, and Rob Curley just barely underthrows this football. Diamond gets a fingertip on it and breaks it up. That play took all of 5 seconds, so Lafayette's going to have its share of shots at the end zone.
2nd and 10. That's not important. 25 seconds on the clock. That is important. It is stopped. Lafayette has no timeouts left. Trips to the top of your screen. Curley back underneath. Where's the flag? Wow.
Oh, my.
Everybody sees it, but the guys in black and white.
Yeah, there's about 8,000 people in the stands, and I guarantee you every one of those folks thought, now let's take a look and see if the contact, oh, my.
That's Greg Hadley.
Yeah.
No call.
Arms around the waist, and Frank Devonnie didn't like it at all, and his body language will tell you that.
You know, I think at times when you throw a lot of flags against the team, you become a little flag shy.
Well, let me tell you a couple of Princeton basketball stories about moving screens.
Uh-oh. Get ready for the halftime. Back to throw, Curley. Flipping to the end zone. Oh, it's not caught. Maybe Nathan should have had that one. That was in his hand, and he did not come up with a catch.
We have seen him make that play more often than not. Rob Curley put it where only Nathan Padilla would have a shot at it. Or was it Mitchell Bennett? I'm not quite sure.
Padilla.
It was Padilla. Oh, yeah, and he kind of took his eyes off the football. I think let's see if he doesn't look down, Gary, and see where the sideline is. He might have just looked down ever so slightly before he secured the ball. It'll be up to Davis Rodriguez now.
He's 1 for 1. This is a 34-yarder. The last one a 33-yarder. It's down. The kick is up. And the kick is good. And Lafayette, 14 seconds on the clock in the first half, will add 3 more. And they'll lead by 6, 27-21. That drive 8 plays, 35 yards. They took 1 minute and 4 seconds off the clock.
And how about Frank Devonnie rolling the dice, using his timeouts in the face of a vaunted Colgate rushing attack? And Gary, you know, you said it. I think it's a strange circumstance, a strange statistic when a team has rushed the way Colgate has run the ball in the first half to actually use timeouts on defense, and the defense responded. They stepped up, 3 and out, they got the ball back, and it turns in to 3 points for the Leopards.
Well, there's Dan Mowdy's question to the coach on the way into the locker room, talking about his mindset of having that much confidence in his defense to not allow that clock to run, hoping to get the football back. And Dan, of course, will talk to head coach Frank Devonnie before he heads into the locker room. Coming up, the MetLife halftime report guarantees for the If in Life, MetLife will have interviews, we'll have stats, we'll have highlights.
Probably see Tommy Condash squib it here. I'm sorry, that's not Condash, of course, that's Chris Cosgrove. No, he's going to kick it away.
Collected at the 10-yard line by Omar House, and then he's collected at the 25, and he's slow to get up. And there's a guy that seems to do it at least one game, or one time a game, DeAndre Morrow with that hit.
Captain Gunner, he is always downfield, and that's just a fundamentally perfect tackle. He's got great speed, that's why we see him on the edge on special teams. And Colgate will probably, Gary, take a knee here.
10 seconds, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Surprised they're doing it out of the gun. But that's what Sullivan does. That will end what has been a fun first half to watch. I'm not sure it's a fun first half to coach. But Lafayette has themselves a 6-point lead at the half. These two teams have put up 48 points in the first half of this football game. Colgate came in averaging 29.3. Lafayette came in averaging 26.5. And they almost have that average in the first half of football. Dan Mowdy, of course, will talk to Frank, but right now he's talking to the officials, and I can't disagree with him having this conversation. There have been a number of flags not thrown, even though there's been a number which have been thrown
and Gary,
in the first half.
I'm sorry, Gary, you asked me, as Frank's going to work his way over to Dan Mowdy, but about the officials' tendency or lack thereof to call certain plays. You know, when a team persists and keeps doing it, the officials get the mindset that we can't call them all, so they start letting things go.
Here's Dan.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Frank, I'm wondering, did it have anything to do with molesting of receivers, the conversation you just had with the officials?
That's just between me and the officials. We're just having a friendly conversation.
All right, we want to ask you about the timeout that you took when Colgate had the football. Were you confident enough to call timeout and save some time on the clock for your offense at that point?
Oh, absolutely. We had all 3 timeouts. You know, hey, we're struggling stopping them, but they're really struggling stopping us. I got a lot of confidence working our 2-minute drill. We had a chance there, tough. You know, I'm sure Nate's going to get another chance and make a play, but we moved that ball down and got those points. And in this game, I told you it's going to be a great football game, and that's what you're getting.
They've got 4 1,000-yard rushers coming in to face Lafayette. Each is tough to stop. Before the game, you said we hope to slow him down. That's really the best you can do against a guy like him.
Well, he's just so tough. You see him, hard to bring down. Even when you wrap him up, those legs are moving. Hey, he's outstanding. We know that. But we got to keep hitting him and be more physical and still play our game. So got a whole half a ball. They're getting the ball coming out. It's going to be an important series to establish. I'm sure they want to go down the field and score. We want to get a stop, get our offense back on the field.
Do you feel there'll be more adjustments on offense or defense coming back out for the second half?
I don't know. I got to go in. We got to talk a little bit. We're doing some things, but when you're playing a good football team, hey, things are going to happen. We just got to play harder.
All right, Frank Devonnie, the head coach. Thanks for joining us, Frank.
Thank you.
Lafayette Leopards, and you can bet there'll be changes here at halftime and changes throughout the second half because, as Frank mentioned, Colgate's a pretty crafty team under Dick Biddle. Now back to Gary and John.
Frank sounded a lot healthier talking to Dan than he did on Tuesday talking to the media. Coming up is the MetLife halftime report. How about Rob Curley today? 3 first-half touchdown passes, as the first one goes to Michael Bolton, the second one to Layton. That's Nate Padilla. Lafayette leads by 6. Stay with us. Four minutes to go in that one. Holy Cross does not have a Patriot League loss. Lehigh has one, Colgate has one, Lafayette has none, and picking up the football now, running out of room. If you don't get it quickly, you're going to get run down. And Jamar Brown got run down out of Lauderhill, Florida, as not good field position for Colgate at the 11. Coming up to make that tackle, it's Troy Robinson again.
Yeah, and I don't know if Chris Cosgrove missed that ball or intentionally hit a line drive, but Colgate misplayed it. They let it roll around on the 5-yard line, and Lafayette's coverage team did a great job to cover it. Colgate starts in very poor field position.
And Nate Eachus is in that backfield. As we mentioned, he's already carried the ball 24 times, make it 25. Trying to get to the corner, steps up inside. And Mark Legiro actually tripped him, and Legiro gets up limping from that trip. Help out by Mike Phillips, but watch, the actual tackle comes from Legiro right there.
And you know what, Gary?
That could be a penalty.
Oh yeah, that's
the old leg
whip and a trip. But Mark did a good job to disguise it. I think he paid the price because he's hobbled a little bit. And I think, is he out? No, I don't think he's in there. So he's on the sideline right now.
Gain of 7. That would be a huge loss. Mark, of course, captain of this football team. Eachus will not get the first down on that carry. Picked up 7 on the first. This time he's going to get the ball to the 20. That's a 2-yard gain, 3rd and 1. Yeah, here you get a look at Mark limping off.
Yeah, a little bit of a bruise, and we can see him right down here below us on the sideline. This is a take from before, and he's trying to walk that thing off. Lafayette is going to have to stop Colgate on a 3rd and short without him.
Oh, a big play early. Eachus on the left side of Sullivan. He gives it to Nate. I don't think so. I don't think so. The Leopards come out of the locker room a little ticked off at Mr. Eachus, and they don't let him fall forward. I don't even think he got a yard.
The rarest of 3rd down stops, 3rd and short. Look at the forward wall. All the push. Schmidline is in there. Dell is in there. We don't know who's at the bottom of that pile. Looks like Jurowski 30.
They're going to go for it, John. They're going to go for it. They are 63% successful on 4th down, 17 for 27. Lafayette has stopped the opponent on 4th down 39% of the time, and I think he got it.
How about that for a gutsy call? I mean, leave it to Dick Biddle. I mean, he laid the game right on the line, you could argue.
He needed 1, he got 2.
And it's a long ride back to Hamilton, New York in any circumstance. If Colgate doesn't convert that 4th down, he might as well be driving to Mars. That was a gutsy play.
I mentioned Lafayette has stopped that play 39% of the time. They did not do it there. Mark Legiro back in the ball game, 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. We've had some gutsy coaching today. Frank Devonnie calling timeouts with Colgate having the football. As again, dragging people, making them go backwards. Legiro and Schmidline on the tackle. Nate Eachus again carrying the football.
He just has a way, despite his size. I mean, he runs like a 6'2" fullback. He's 5'10". He's a solid 206, as you suggested, all muscle, Gary. That is one strong young man.
He got 5. They need 5. Back to throw. Sullivan. Schmidline is after him. Schmidline has got him. He'll knock him out of bounds back at about the 26-yard line. Mike Schmidline, who missed last week's ball game and still maintained the #1 tackling spot on the team, is going to force a loss of 2.
Well, this is just great discipline by the Lafayette defense because, boy, they've been giving the ball to Eachus. You knew that one of these times Greg Sullivan was just going to keep the football, but both Schmidline and Legiro stayed home, followed the football, and the football led them to Greg Sullivan.
All right, a big 3rd and 6 now faced by the Lafayette defense as they're giving yardage grudgingly here on the first drive of the second half. Sullivan back. Oh, it almost intercepted as Donald Ellis stepped in front. And that one was more his ball than it was a Colgate ball.
Great position by Donald Ellis, and you saw in unison the entire Lafayette sideline jump up as one, as this play had interception written all over it. And unfortunately, Donald Ellis just couldn't hang on.
Trevor Lawler's third punt of the ball game. He's averaging 29 yards. Padilla standing on the 40. And Lafayette showing a pretty good rush and a great punt. Fair catch called for by Padilla. He bobbled it, but he ended up falling right on it at the 31. That is a 43-yard punt. Lafayette will have the football when we come back. They have the lead at 27-21. Stay with us. Rob Curley's had a good day today. Well, he's had himself a great year so far. He leads the Patriot League and is 7th in the country with a 155.4 pass efficiency rating. And since John knows all about math anymore, I'll let him explain how you get to that number.
Well,
first and 10 from the 31.
When you start talking about 7th in the country and 155, that's high.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Right over the middle. Oh, what a catch!
Oh, my.
Oh, we see one of those again. There is Mark Layton. He just has that one-hand catch down to a science. Mark Layton gets the ball to the 49, an 18-yard pickup.
Well, this is about a receiver making a play for his quarterback, but give some credit to Rob Curley, because you know what, Gary? There's a very, very narrow window where Rob Curley can deliver that football, and this is about Mark Layton having great hands. Oh my, what a catch!
Rob Curley now over 200 yards passing from the 49, first and 10. The Leopards want nothing more than to put a little more we're going to get a penalty here. In motion early was Kevin Doty. And it will be against Lafayette. That's just their second penalty of the day, 20 yards.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Rob Curley had a career game last week where he had 333 yards in the air, as he had a terrific day in terms of efficiency. 30 for 35, 3 touchdowns, 333 yards.
And it's all about making great decisions. He has one pick today. He's thrown an interception, but arguably, Gary, it was a calculated risk. It wasn't a bad throw necessarily.
First and 15. And Curley will hand the ball to Jerome Rudolph, who will get back to the original. You know what? I'm not sure his knee ever touched the ground, but they're going to say he was down.
And Jerome Rudolph is adamant that he did not.
He got the 5 yards back, and then he wanted another 51.
Let's take a look now, Gary. If he's on another player, he's not down. Now let's see. Now he's on that player.
Well, you'd be hard pressed as an official.
Not to call it down. That's right. Yeah. But technically, he was not, because his knee never hit. He was laying flat on the Colgate defender.
And the fans all get to see our replay here.
The referee doesn't have that benefit.
Well, he gets to see it. He just doesn't like to see it. Second and 10. Curley back over the middle. He's got a man. And there's down to the 35. It looked like Kyle Hayes. It is Kyle Hayes. Tackled on the play by Uzi Ida. That is to the 35. A gain of 16 and a first down.
Rob Curley has a choice here, because he's got a wide out running an out. Hold on right now. Let's see. He's got a slant pattern here, and he's got an out pattern here, and he just has to see who the open man is. And Rob Curley does a great job of making those kinds of decisions under pressure.
Kyle Hayes with a couple of catches today. Curley back. Curley looks. He's going to flip it out here to Mitchell Bennett, and he does not make the catch. That was just a good, solid defensive play by number 23, Uzi Ida. Uzi is from Rolling Hills Estate.
Yeah, we're going to get a great look at it right here. And actually, I'll tell you, Mitchell Bennett had a great chance to make that catch. Ida closed on the play late, but I think Mitchell Bennett had a better chance at catching that football than we may have thought originally. Second down and long now. Rob Curley continues to go to the air, and why not, with the success he's had.
We're going to see an exact opposite opponent next week. And Holy Cross comes, or we go to Holy Cross. Oh, perfect timing. 20, 25, Jerome Rudolph, touchdown. Another TD by Rob Curley. 35 yards, Curley's fourth of the day.
Nobody touches Jerome Rudolph coming out of the backfield, Gary. You know, he has a clean shot. Watch him right here, and look how quickly he gets into the pattern. Nobody pays any attention to him. The linebackers blitz. You've got to cover Mitchell Bennett downfield, and I'm sure Jerome Rudolph was as surprised as anybody when he turned upfield and saw no white shirts whatsoever. One man to beat. He puts a move on him, and Lafayette looks to go up by 13 with this extra point.
And that's Jerome's first touchdown of the season. The extra point is good. Lafayette leads by 13. Come on back. Well, Jerome Rudolph on the board. Jerome, of course, who had a huge day against Fordham last year. 3 touchdowns. He gets a TD catch here. Curley now 20 on the season, 36 in his career, 4 today. As that drive, 5 plays, 69 yards, took 2 minutes and 27 seconds. 9:04 left in the third period. Lehigh has taken a 20-17 lead. Over Holy Cross, and another pop downfield by Lafayette. This time, it's Evan McGovern. All right, we have an opportunity to go back a little bit. Let's go to November 28th, 2006. In fact, October 28th. And John, this is Frank Devonnie's only win as a head coach over Colgate.
It was a balmy day in Hamilton, New York. And this was really a hard-fought game. There's a big interception. That was Marvin Clesidor. It was just a wonderful. It was a rainy, windy day. Rich Siska had 2 field goals. Marvin Clesidor 6 tackles and the INT. Great win up in Hamilton.
Well, you didn't miss much. Another Nate Each's run. This time he gets 2. And Mark Legiro in on the tackle.
You looked up some Each's numbers, Gary, and he is on the threshold if things hold their current course of setting some personal records.
Yeah, 37 rushes in a game is his high. He has 30. 241 yards rushing is his high. He has 170. From the 29, Sullivan back, fires. Nice pitch and catch. He got that ball to Pat Simmons. I would expect to see Simmons a little bit more involved here now that they're down by 13 points. Coverage supplied by Brandon Ellis. They'll mark it at the 42, a gain of 13.
Well, that's the one factor that might get in the way of Nate Each's setting personal records. They're now down by 13 points, and it might dictate that Greg Sullivan have to go to the air a little bit more. So we'll keep an eye on that. And certainly Greg Sullivan has been efficient through the air. It's just that Colgate really loves to run the football.
From the 42, 1st and 10. And here comes Eachus again. And he gets hit after a gain of a couple. Coming up was Mark Legiro. Also in there, 94, Doug Gorowski.
Gorowski and Mike Phillips, 93, have played a great game today. You mentioned it earlier. John Luce emphasizing just how important that front 4 would be. And again, it's not about them necessarily making plays, though they have made their share of play today. It's about creating that stalemate and allowing those linebackers to roam free.
2nd and 8.
Oh, they had it. Oh, man.
We knew it. We heard the coaching staff next to us say, draw, draw, draw. That's what film work is all about. They knew exactly what the play was going to be. So did Ian Dell. He came across the line of scrimmage. He hits Eachus for a loss of 4.
Well, whatever his reads were, Ian Dell made them perfectly, because Ian Dell, if he doesn't make that play, if he doesn't make that play, as he gets a rather interesting congratulations from Andrew Polson's. A little knuckle, what they used to call that, the Three Stooges? Anyway.
3rd and 12 from the 40. Sullivan back, firing deep, and that's a good catch. What a nice throw. In between a whole bunch of Leopards, Doug Rosnick comes up with a catch at the 40. They go from the 40 to the 40, a 20-yard gain.
Lafayette, Gary, rushed 3 people. There's only 3 people. There are 8 back in coverage, and yet Sullivan is able to find wide open in the middle of everything, a receiver. And Gary, John Luce, that was Doug Rosnick again. John Luce has to be upset with the coverage that time. There were 8 people back there.
It's Eachus. He gets popped as in there is Ian Dell again to make that tackle. A gain of 1. So each is now picking up yardage in small chunks. He does, of course, have a 43-yard touchdown run on the day. 2nd and 9 from the 39.
Lafayette still going with 3 backers, Gary, a conventional 4-3. Now they bring the backer up on the strong side.
McCord is also in there with Eaches. Back to throw. They want to get it to McCord. A little out, quick out, and he'll get knocked out of bounds. Now, where will the official mark it? At the 32. He does not have a first down, a gain of 7. As coming up is Spencer Brown to make the tackle, along with Eric McGovern.
Yeah, good speed to the edge by McGovern and by Spencer Brown, because it looked like McCord had an angle for that marker, and he denied the first down. So here we go again. Colgate 3rd and short.
Gain of 7 from the 32. They're certainly in 4-down territory. They were in 4-down territory back on their own 25.
Right.
It's Eaches. It's a first down. He'll get to the 28, a gain of 4 before Gorowski is there.
He runs as if he's 8 inches off the ground, and can you imagine trying to get under somebody to tackle them when they're running that low to the ground? And that's why, Gary, he's always going forward. He's got such a low center of gravity, and he's piling up some huge numbers against a very good rushing defense.
A team that doesn't lose often. In their last 94 games, they've lost 66 times. In the last 83 Patriot League games, they've won 65 of those.
Well, this was bound to happen.
And Sullivan scampers down the sideline to about the 12-yard line as he fakes that handoff and goes 16 yards for a first down.
Yeah, you know, Gary, and we have watched this. Let's see if we can freeze it right at the point of the handoff. This is belly. Hold on. They still haven't made up their mind, Gary. It's Greg Sullivan's call. At this point, he pulls it out. Look at the attention that Nate Eaches gets in the middle of the field. And as soon as Greg Sullivan hits the edge, he's got an awful lot of green space out there.
1st and 10 from the 12. As Colgate tries to answer Lafayette's touchdown. Here comes Eaches, and he's headed for the corner. That's a touchdown for Nate Eaches. Good blocking out in front of him, particularly Rob Budney, the 272-pound senior, number 68. 12-yard touchdown run, Nate Eaches.
Boy, we're going to get a great look at an end run. And watch big number 68 on the edge. Watch the blocking assignments. Hold on right here. Look how quickly these guys get out there. And here's the block right here. Boom. Takes out Mark Legiro. Nobody else home, and Eaches for the score.
All important extra point. Evan Colburn is down. Kick is up. The kick is good. 4:24 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. And Colgate down now again by 6. That drive, 10 plays, 74 yards. They used 4 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock. For Nate Eaches, that's his 3rd touchdown of the day, his 13th of the season, his 23rd of the year. You can always stay with Lafayette News as they have their Facebook page. There it is, facebook.com/Lafayette.Leopard. Or if you want to Twitter, we'll go to twitter.com/GoLeopards. And let's go back to our trivia question. John's had a lot of time to ponder.
Yes, and I've got this one.
All right. There you get a look at it. Who gave the Leopards their only loss in 06? It wasn't Colgate that year. Who was it?
Fordham.
Fordham. The answer is Holy Cross.
It was 50-50. It was 50-50.
Don't ever go on Jeopardy, John. Don't ever.
It was either going to be Holy Cross or Fordham. And of course,
I think that you would befuddle Alex Trebek. Yes. I think
the program's budget would be way up.
Well, they'd never be able to do the show in a half hour. Jerome Rudolph at the 10. Jerome Rudolph, ooh, there was a hole there. He couldn't quite turn back to the right side. Ends up running over Jeff Cummings, his old man. And Lafayette will get the ball. Good field position, 33-yard line. Boy, doesn't it feel like every possession is a must-score possession? 62 points scored so far as the two teams came in averaging 55 a game, and both of them came in with good defense.
That's the thing, Gary. These are, again, two heavyweights going toe-to-toe, two well-coached teams, two great strategies going at one another, and the result is what you see. You get the sense that the last team to have the football may be in a position to win this football game.
I hope not. I'm not sure our tickers can take it. Hand the ball off, big hole up the middle. Cutting the outside, DeAndre Morrow, and DeAndre Morrow with the longest run from scrimmage to the 42 in Colgate territory. 25-yard pickup, tackled by Dimitri Diamond.
We've said it before, but we'll say it again, Gary. It bears repeating. Let's take a look. Here's DeAndre Morrow right here. Let's see what, hold on right here. Look at the big, I think this is Wyszynowski, I think. But look at the movement of that offensive line, and the hole is huge. The lateral movement of those big offensive linemen, Gary, incredible. The guy pulling out that time was Brian Wyszynowski, number 69, who made a great block on the play.
Fresh legs help. That's the first carry of the day for DeAndre. Now, can he get to the top of your screen? He can. He steps away, cuts upfield, and gets about 10. The official will mark it at the 32. It might be a first down. There's a penalty flag at the 40. Hold everything.
And it might be a hold at the edge. They're talking about it. And the Lafayette Leopards appear to be walking backwards.
It will
Holding
be.
On the offense, number 59. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
Scott Beal, the guilty party on the edge. He's the right guard. He got out there in a hurry. And we'll have a chance, I think, to take a look at it. This is Scott Beal right here. And you're going to see him. Hold on. He barely gets his hands just, well, I don't know. That's a tough one to call. They say if you get your hands outside the opponent's shoulder pads, they're going to call it. But I'm not sure that Scott's arms weren't locked under. Nevertheless, the call goes against him. It's going to be a first down and 18.
DeAndre gets credit for a couple of yards on the run. And the ball right at midfield. Take the ball back. Wide. Oh, my. Jeff Cumming had nobody near him. Can he get to the end zone? He can. 50-yard touchdown. Pass and catch. Rob Curley to Jeff Cumming. Oh, my.
I can't explain it, Gary, because I've never seen... they're going to watch number 55 is linebacker Hadley right here. Now let's see what he could be possibly thinking. Oh, he's caught in no man's land. He's responsible. He thinks that Cumming might be running a pattern to the sideline, but he completely loses him. And Jeff Cumming with I'm sure his longest pass reception of his career.
How about the day Rob Curley is having?
Well, they
3 plays, 67 yards. And Lafayette is going to go for 2 here, John.
Well, they're going to make it a 14-point spread, Gary. The way Rob Curley's passing the football, don't.
You know what? This is a huge play.
Oh, it really is, because
there's a big difference between leading by 13 or leading by 12. That was ugly.
Pass interference.
Yeah, there's a flag thrown. Yeah, it is. It is intended for Mitchell Bennett. So this will end up being a
half the distance,
penalty,
yeah.
And they'll get it all over again. 3 plays, 67 yards. We'll listen.
Pass interference on the defense, number 28. Half a distance to the goal, retry.
Let's take a look at it, Gary. The defender never makes a play on the ball. Actually, one does and one doesn't. And the infraction was actually called on Mike Barry, who never turned around to make a play on the football.
Well, now they have 1.5 yards to go for the 2-point conversion. Frank loves to run the football.
I still think you throw it here. The way Rob Curley's throwing the ball.
How about a quarterback draw? I like that play. Let's see what they do here.
Good one. There's 3 in the pattern. There are 2 tailbacks in the game.
Morrow, Michael Wojcik there in front of you.
That's
so
true.
Let's see.
Well, they're set up for it. They're all spread out.
Oh, that was pretty. Wow, that couldn't have been any more perfect.
Yeah.
As Mark Layton with a 2-point conversion. Rob Curley can do nothing wrong today.
Well, we talked about the chemistry between Mark Layton and Rob Curley. Rob Curley knows that Mark Layton's going to make a play for him, so we're going to take a look at it on the replay, but that's Rob Curley and Mark Layton being on the same page. Great 2-point conversion. Lafayette goes up 14. Gary, I said it before, but it bears repeating. You know, Lafayette ran the ball a little more effectively in that drive, and traditional, conventional thinking has football teams setting up the pass game with a run game. Let's take a look at it again now. Here's Layton on the outside. Now watch, this is one-on-one. Hold on. Now at this point, Rob Curley knows that it's going to be up to Mark Layton. He's going to throw it to the outside shoulder, the back shoulder, and there's no way that Dimitri Diamond knows where that football is. Only Rob Curley and Mark Layton know that it's going to be thrown to the back shoulder. Just great execution. Lafayette's offense, Gary, putting up huge numbers through the air.
Well, Colgate's only loss this year, John, was the Holy Cross. The score, 42-28. The score right now, 42-28, but there's a lot of football left.
Yeah, and I don't think this is going to be the, you know, I think there's a few more points to come if these teams continue to move the football like this.
Jamal Brown awaits the kickoff of Chris Cosgrove, and Brown will collect it at the 5-yard line. And he's got the corner, and he's got some running room. And finally, the Leopards catch up to him at around the 36 as DeAndre Morrow. Boy, if it isn't DeAndre Morrow, it's Troy Robinson on these kickoff returns.
I'm sorry, Gary. Lafayette has such great team speed, and nowhere is it more evident than on special teams. And let's give Lafayette special teams the credit it deserves today. Not only is Davis Rodriguez 2 for 2 in field goals, but the return game has given Lafayette great field position. You heard Dick Biddle allude to it. 2 of Lafayette's early touchdowns came on a short field created by that special teams play.
So now it's Colgate's turn. First and 10 from the 36. Leaches gets his usual 5, then adds 2 more on his 36th carry of the day. And that one should put him close to 190 yards rushing.
The only thing pretty about his game are the statistics. He runs like a wrestler. I mean, it's just, and he always wins. He's low, he's strong, he's quick, and he just never gets pushed backwards. He's not exactly a gazelle, but he gets the job done, doesn't he?
Well, you know, another wrestler down there on the field right now, Andrew Polson, is another guy that has kind of those wrestling instincts. He's tough to block. Sullivan back. Fires, has a man. That is McCord over the middle. And McCord will get it down to the 31-yard line. That'll be a gain of 26. Tackled on the play by Donald Ellis along with Mark Legiro. And that, again, will move the chains.
Boy, Sullivan does a nice job, and Schmidline just could not keep up. Ellis makes the play. Legiro helps out. But, you know, Gary, you get the sense that one adjustment John Luce made at halftime was to maybe bring another guy into the box to stop the run. They've done a better job defending Colgate's run, but every once in a while, you leave yourself vulnerable down the middle of the field in the pass game.
Here comes McCord with a carry, and Legiro does not quite bring him down. And looks like he's going to get to the 25-yard line. That would be a pickup of 6. That's McCord's 3rd run of the day. He did all the bulk of the ball carrying last week.
Shows a lot of strength here because Legiro is a good tackler. Now he reaches out, and I'll tell you, that's great balance. Look at that. I mean, to avoid that tackle, which would have been for a loss, the posse arrived in time, a minimal gain. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
John, these two teams are within 8 yards of total yardage. Lafayette 377, Colgate 369. And had done it in totally different ways.
Exactly. My next question was going to be, what's the breakdown rushing and passing? I mean, it's got to be incredibly different.
Well, Lafayette has 314 yards passing. Colgate has 230 yards rushing.
Amazing stuff.
They got 3. Brings up a 3rd and 1.
At the end of the game, they're not going to ask how, they're going to ask how many. And right now, the scoreboard says Lafayette has more.
Keeping Sullivan, 1st down and more. 1st down and much more. He'll get it all the way down to the 5-yard line. A 17-yard pickup before Carlos Lowe is finally able to pick him or get him down. And John, we said at the top of the show, These guys have 1,000 yards in the books in their career. You have seen everybody really today but McCord.
Yeah, and you know what? We have been fed to this point a steady diet of Nate Eaches. That run right there gave you a glimpse of just why Greg Sullivan is one of those 1,000-yard rushers.
Eaches, touchdown. Look at that drive by Nate Eaches. You just can't get a good shot at him. He'll go in from 5 yards out, and Colgate answers again with 16 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Andrew Polson looked like he had a shot at him. Watch the penetration right there. And he spins out of that tackle and drags those big Lafayette defensive linemen. You see that spin move. That was Polson. He shed it on his way to the end zone.
His 4th touchdown of the day. The extra point is up. It is good. It's a 7-point ball game again. That drive, 64 yards in 6 plays. They used 2 minutes and 53 seconds on the clock. There's 16 seconds to go in the third quarter, and it's a 42-35 game.
I get the feeling I'm watching a tennis game back and forth. I mean, my neck, Gary, it's entertaining for sure, at least for us. I'm not sure how Frank Devonnie and Dick Biddle feel about it, but I got to love the offensive part.
Nate Eaches obviously having himself a career day. 4 touchdowns today. That's a career high. 38 carries is a career high. And he right now is 41 yards shy of his career high in rushing yardage, as he has an even 200 yards and a good crowd on hand. And boy, are they enjoying themselves. They got their money's worth.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been that kind of game, and pretty much in terms of competitiveness, what we expected. I'm a little surprised, given the style of play of both teams, of how many points have been scored. But you know, Gary, sometimes it just shakes out that way. We've got an entire quarter of football to play, and if the last one is anything like the first 3, we're in for more fun.
It will be collected by Rudolph. It dropped at the 13-yard line, and now he's got some running room. Jerome Rudolph trying to get up the middle. He'll get out to the 40, out to about the 43. Another good run back for Jerome Rudolph, and Lafayette with good field position. 7 seconds on the clock.
We talked about special teams play, and that young man right there, Jerome Rudolph, is spearheading that part of the game for the Lafayette team this afternoon. Jerome Rudolph has been special. Gary, we see it time and again when a running back fumbles or muffs a ball on a return, it throws off the timing sometime of everybody else on the field. And that was an illustration right there. There was a hole, and Rudolph took advantage of it.
Curley with his 13 completions today. 1 went for no gain. All of the others were for double digits. Let's see if this is a double digit. What a block!
Wojcik.
This won't go double digit, but it'll be a gain of a couple. And Wojcik just flat out nailed a Colgate defender. All right, here's what the third quarter looked like. Jerome Rudolph touchdown from Rob Curley. How about Mr. Cumming with a touchdown from Rob Curley? Jeff Cumming and Nate Eaches. It's Eaches, it's Curley, it's exciting. It's a fourth quarter right around the corner. Easton coach tells us with an out-of-town score that Holy Cross has just taken the lead over Lehigh, 24-20 in the fourth quarter. And here, John, you just get the feel. I'm going to use a double negative here. You can't not score. You have to keep scoring.
You got to keep scoring. Nobody has shown the ability to stop the other team. Look at this.
And short. Little short on that time. Rob took a pop, too, from Austin Douglas. Curley had a man open over the middle, and he just kind of short-armed it into the dirt.
Yeah, and you know what? You wonder if Austin Douglas's pressure didn't have something to do with that, and I guess the nose of the ball hit the ground. Mitchell Bennett, almost a spectacular catch. Tried to get his hands under the football. Rob Curley a little low on the throw. So 3rd down and 8.
A big 3rd down and 8. Just don't want to give this team the ball back.
On the Colgate side, and they brought some folks down with them. They're making a little noise now.
It looks like they're blitzing. They bring a whole bunch. Rob back, down the field. Nathan Padilla, and it's broken up. Good play by Garrington Spence and Lafayette's going to have to punt the ball away for just the second time today.
That was just great coverage because Rob Curley had Nathan Padilla over the middle. Now, Nathan Padilla is about 6'3", and Rob Curley puts this ball where Nathan has a chance to catch it, but you're right. Spence goes up and makes a great play defensively. Nathan can't hold on to it, so Colgate will get the ball back and a chance to tie.
Kondash punted on Lafayette's first possession of the game. He hasn't punted since. He gets off a beauty. Simmons with a fair catch, and he will collect it at the 17-yard line. That is a 38-yard punt. And now Colgate comes on to the field, fourth quarter, with a chance to tie the ball game with a touchdown.
Well, you said it before, Gary, you can't not score. And on that possession, as we take a look at Frank Devonnie, you get a sense that he's thinking the same thing. Lafayette's offense just didn't score. It goes back over to Colgate. It'll fall now to Lafayette's defense to get the ball back and kind of preserve this 7-point lead.
First and 10 from the 17-yard line. More Eachus. He'll get to the 19. Pick up 2. Andrew Polson with the tackle.
Yeah, good penetration. He got inside his blocker, and that's about the only way and the best way to grab Eachus. You gotta wrap up his legs, Gary. He's got too much balance and he's too powerful upper body.
Colgate's been stopped twice today from scoring on a possession. Sullivan back. He and Dell look like he might have been held. There's Simmons. Simmons down to midfield at the 50-yard line. Coverage supplied by Donald Ellis, but Simmons just knows how to get perfect position. 31-yard pickup.
He's almost like a rebounder in basketball. It's a skinny post, and what we mean by that is he's kind of using the middle of the field. Now watch, Gary. He's really got Donald Ellis shielded from the football. He's 6'6". He's a wide body as well, and he just cradles that ball. A perfectly thrown football by Greg Ellis.
First and 10 from midfield. There goes Eachus, and he'll get half a yard maybe. It looks like he fell into Lafayette territory. Polson and Schmidline. Holy Cross has set up next week's matchup. They have a victory today, 24-20 over Lehigh. Lehigh now with 2 losses. That takes them out of the picture. And Lafayette has to get the W here to set up next week in Worcester. No gain on the last play, 2nd and 10.
Out of the gun again, Eachus right next to Sullivan. Now they adjust.
Sullivan keeps. This time Lafayette was there and he still gets good yardage. Lafayette had it defended very well, but Sullivan managed to get away to the 42. He'll pick up 8. It'll bring up a 3rd and 2.
And Eric McGovern is hollering for a hold right here. And Gary, I think he's got a pretty good argument. Close play. You're not going to call a block in the back on that one, but I'm not sure that he wasn't wrapped up. In any event, nice run by Sullivan sets up a 3rd and 1.
From the 42-yard line, they actually have to get to the 40, so it's a 3rd and 2. And that means Eachus, and he'll get the first down. He'll get to the 38 or 39-yard line. He has now carried 41 times. Each carry is a career high for him. Tackled by Schmidline, also Mike Phillips, and they'll give him 4 yards on the carry to the 38.
Big play on the drive so far is that little fake, and Lafayette missed an opportunity to throw Sullivan for a loss. He's a slippery back as well, and you've got to respect the fact that he can keep that ball at any moment.
Eachus again. Polson can't get him. And then chasing was Legiro. He'll put him down at the 35-yard line, a gain of 3.
Boy, they make you earn your money on defense, don't they? I mean, they just do what they do. And Dick Biddle made no bones about it in the Tuesday media luncheon. He just said, you know, he's an old defensive coach, and he wants to run the football. He wants to try to stop the run. Colgate has done both of that today. The problem is they haven't had any answers for Lafayette through the air.
2nd and 7 from the 35. They're down 7. Eachus. And again, they never quite get a good shot at him. He always manages to be able to lean forward and get at least an extra yard on almost every tackle. Ojiro again, along with Polson, to the 32, a gain of 3.
And what that does, Gary, on every offensive series, it keeps down and distance manageable. Colgate rarely finds itself in 3rd and long, with the exception of the penalties that they've inflicted upon themselves. They've always managed to sustain drives.
Nate Eaches is a sophomore. 2 more years of this guy. Sullivan back, going the other way, wide open. That will be a Colgate touchdown, 32 yards, as the ball is caught by the fullback, Gigi Cadet. His 4th catch of the year, his 1st touchdown of the year.
Well, all of the keys were coming this way. Everything was going to the right. Pat Simmons was over here. Rosnick was over here. Sullivan is rolling to the right, and watch him stop. And the only 2 guys in the stadium, seemingly, that knew what they were doing were Gigi Cadet and Greg Sullivan. And the result is a tying touchdown, potentially awaiting the extra point. And in fact, it's 42 all.
42. We'll be back. Here you get a look at another one of our updated quick stats. Lafayette 63 yards rushing, Colgate 275, Eaches with 212. That drive, 83 yards and 8 plays. That took 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Sullivan's 16th touchdown pass of the year. Cadet's 1st touchdown catch of the year.
And Gary, if that quick stat was the only stat we showed you, what would you think the score would be?
Well, not 42-42. We should give Lafayette's passing numbers, 316. This one we taken by DeAndre Morrow. He hasn't returned one today and really didn't have any speed generated before he caught the football. He is tackled on the play by Jonathan Imputu. And John, let's take a look at Jerome Rudolph.
Yeah, and you know, Gary, he really has been special on special teams. Dick Biddle alluded to the fact that Colgate suffered from poor field position, primarily because of the returns of Rudolph, but here he does some damage on the offensive side of the football, feeling this screen pass, and then out of the backfield, nobody touches him, and down the field he goes for a Lafayette score. So it's been a huge day for the Lafayette wideouts and for Rob Curley, and that man right there has had a big part in it, Jerome Rudolph.
There may not be a more important possession of the year than this one here. Greg Sullivan having a great day. He's completed 6 passes in a row. Lafayette's not going anywhere with that one, as Colgate stiffens defensively, and Rudolph takes the ball but does not get any further than the line of scrimmage. Tackled on the play by Carlton Walker, along with 86, Austin Douglas, and no gain.
And that's a big 1st down stop, Gary. 2nd down and 10 now, and what Lafayette does not want to have to do is to become one-dimensional. Rob Curley has shown that he can do the job through the air, but you've got to have balance in your offense. Now they're almost forced to go to the air.
2nd and about 10.5. Curley back, and that ball broken up, intended for Rudolph, and that would have been defended very well anyway. That one, they may have been lucky that that was not completed.
Yeah, exactly right, because Colgate had it covered. They had it smelled out. It's particularly in the person of Greg Hadley, 44. And watch, he reads it. And even if Jerome Rudolph catches that football, Hadley was out at the edge. But give credit to the big lineman. I believe it was 85, and it was Zach Smith who got his big hand up in the air and knocked it down.
3rd and 11 on the day. Lafayette 3 out of 8 on 3rd down. They need one here. Curley back, steps up, will fire. Oh, what a catch! Mitchell Bennett with an unbelievable grab downfield. The 6'4" sophomore with a spectacular grab at the 41-yard line, again at 30.
Was there ever a doubt? Was there ever a doubt? I mean, this team all year long, Gary, has seemed to be able to make plays when they need them most. And you got the sense, looking at Mitchell Bennett, that this was going to be a key play in this football game, and someone was going to make it. It's been the story of this football team all year long. Let's put a circle around that one, Gary. That's a huge play if Lafayette prevails.
Rob Curley with a career passing day in yardage. Rudolph, good yardage as he'll get to the 35 or so. Curley now in 3 consecutive games has gotten a career high. 333 last week, He's now up to 347 this week. He already has a career high in touchdown passes with 5 of them. And that's a gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
How many times this year has this football team seemingly been on the ropes and they just managed to find a way? This is a football team, and that'll be the refrain this year, find a way, and so far, this Lafayette Leopard football team has.
A little bit of a miscue.
What a move.
It didn't matter. It may have opened the hole up. Oh, what a hit. Jerome Rudolph got popped by Uzi Ida. Oh, what a smackdown. But Jerome says, give me a break. I'm coming out. And he did run to the right sideline, so that's good news.
Watch the move, Gary. Watch the move right there. I mean, there's no hole, and he slips quickly. And look at the hit by Ida at the end. But I'll tell you what, when you have a run like that, the hits don't seem to hurt quite as badly. Jerome will get a well-deserved break. I think we've got DeAndre Morrow replacing him. Trips to the left, looks like a passing formation. Never know.
1st and 10 from the 22. Leopards want to take some time off the clock, too. Back over the middle. And there is going to be a good defensive play. No flag as Garrington Spence went over the top of DeAndre Morrow. Incomplete pass.
Let's take a look at it, Gary. It was a close call and good call. Spence arrives at about the same time the football does. The play was kind of blown up anyway. There wasn't a lot there. You could tell by Rob Curley's posture in the pocket. He was a little off balance, and really the play's rhythm was broken up by Colgate's defense.
Next week's ball game, just a quick reminder, is a 12:30 start from Worcester. Inside Lafayette football at noon. Back to throw. Curley looking, fire has man wide open. How do you make intercepted? It was high.
Down again.
Lafayette gets it back. So it's Lafayette football. It was an interception and a fumble, and the fumble recovered by Michael Bolton. Wow.
Great heads-up play by Bolton. The ball is just one of Rob Curley's few bad throws. It's overthrown. Bennett is open, and then I think it's Spence who comes down. Uzi Ida comes down with the interception. But look, on the return, Bolton, good hustle. Mark Layton forces the turnover. He never gives up on the play. And the end result, a 1st down for the Leopards.
Second interception of the day, and the second
fumble,
turnover of the day by Colgate. 1st and 10 from the 12. Cutting up is DeAndre Morrow inside the 10. He'll get to the 8 or 9 yard line.
And again, Gary, it's just another illustration that you get the sense that maybe the stars are lined up just right for this football team. I mean, first of all, they get the second chance. Folks who remember the home stretch last year remember heartbreaking losses to Holy Cross, a tough one up at Colgate, and of course the Lehigh game. Lafayette has them all lined up again this year, and let's see if they can make better use of those games.
This goes down technically as a fresh drive from the 12-yard line. 2nd and 7. Rob Curley will use a timeout. Oh, heads-up play by Michael Bolton as Lafayette got the ball back at the 9. Lafayette's first timeout of the second half. Dan Mowdy, what's going on down there?
Well, Gary, just a quick look back on the season so far for Lafayette College. You know, so many times they've been a different team coming out of the second half locker room than they have in the first half. I checked out some numbers. It turns out that they're pretty well balanced. First half points so far this season heading into today's game, 106. Second half points, 106. The difference, though, has been defense. Defense has allowed 64 first half points so far this season before today's game, and 49 in the second half, really tightening down in the second half to date. Now back to you guys.
Dan, one of the few people on the sidelines without a touchdown. There you get a look at former Lafayette players Marcel Quarterman, Tim Nish, Chad Walker, Ryan Nace are all on Frank Devonnie's football staff. There you get a look at Marcel Quarterman. Pretty good defensive back in his own right.
Absolutely, and the apples don't fall far from the tree. They have chosen to stay around and be part of this this wonderful season, Gary. And if Lafayette can nail it home here.
2nd and 7, back to throw.
Same thing.
Same play. How's that? They give it to Colgate by doing the same thing to the tight end, Michael Bolton. The guy never scored a touchdown in his life. He has 3 in the last 2 weeks.
It's an avalanche. And Gary, I'll tell you what, you know, you and I have worked a lot of football games. I have seen a lot of football games in my time here. Let's first watch Michael Bolton, see where he comes from. Oh, hold on. He sets up on this side. Here he is right here. And everybody's going to the left. Nobody pays any attention to Michael Bolton. How you hide at 6'3" and whatever he is. Nobody saw him. He was all alone. Rob Curley completes it. I think that's his 5th touchdown pass.
I don't want any letters coming from the Bolton family. I meant that he hadn't scored a college touchdown until last week. He has 2 today, and the most important fumble recovery, I'm sure, of this season. Lafayette back on top by 7. That doesn't mean much today. Stay with us. We are back, the Lafayette Sports Network, he's getting tired. We've provided unparalleled coverage of Leopard athletics for 12 years. Fans can purchase DVDs of all telecasts for the past few seasons, as well as a few memorable ones. This might be one of them. So watch that great game whenever you want. Shop the GoLeopards.com DVD store today. We're trying to check to see if Rob Curley has set a Lafayette record. We do know that Frank Bauer threw 5 touchdown passes in a game. Marko Glavic threw 4. We're trying to check to see if anybody has ever thrown 6. Let's go to some key plays, John, on that last drive.
Yeah, and starts with a great catch by Mitchell Bennett. Rob Curley, this is on 3rd and 10, Gary. Lafayette could not afford to give up the football again. And then here's the overthrow. Mitchell Bennett off his fingertips. Mark Layton never gives up on the play, forces the fumble, and who else? Michael Bolton is there to recover it. That turned into a Lafayette first down. That turned into a Lafayette touchdown. That turns into a 7-point lead. 6:47 left.
Well,
here we go.
You can talk all you want about the 6 touchdown passes. Maybe the biggest pass today will be the 2-point conversion pass to Mark Layton. Now, can they stop the game? As carrying the ball is Eachus. The fans are on their feet. They're cheering on their Leopards. Eachus will get a yard as he's tackled on the play by Alan Weitzel.
Gary, again, in the second half, Lafayette's adjustment, it seems, is that they're going to take away the run game as best they can. The damage Colgate has done in the second half seems to have been through the air. We'll see if that continues.
2nd and a long 8 or short 9. They got 7 on the board. That's not great. Oh, almost intercepted. Oh, that would have been huge. Carlos Lowe almost picked it off.
Great coverage in the secondary. It was a zone coverage. There were 2 people in the area. Pat Simons comes open right here, but that's a great read by Carlos Lowe, and he breaks it up. Big 3rd down play coming.
That's only the 3rd incomplete pass after a whole bunch in a row, 6 in a row before that incompletion.
Now you got to stay cool on defense, Gary. I know they're motivated right now. The crowd is on their feet, but you got to stay disciplined.
Scoreboard says 3rd and 7. It's 3rd and 8. Back to throw. Looking. Firing. They will not get the first down. But knowing Colgate, they'll go for it here. Good tackle by Brandon Ellis as he came up to make that tackle. And it's going to look like a 4th and 3. Schmidline also in on the tackle. They're going to punt it away.
Yeah, you know, Gary, with the game on the line at this point, now you got to turn it over to your defense and get that stop. Colgate is not in real comfortable territory here, Gary. Down a score with 5 minutes left. They're not a team that is built necessarily to come from behind.
A horrible punt. And it bounces Lafayette's way. 38-yard line. God, I've got to keep looking at my top. That's a 3-yard punt.
How about it?
3-yard punt.
We talked about all of these statistics accompanying this Colgate-Lafayette rivalry. Colgate has won the last 12 out of 13. And today, Gary, a normally efficient Colgate team has really hurt itself at times. Lafayette is there to take advantage, and I'm telling you, they're poised to pull off a huge win.
They were 4th and 3 and got a 3-yard punt. They got it to the first down marker.
DeAndre Morrow is the running back behind fullback Jeff Cummings, so we'll see if Lafayette can establish some ground game.
That tells you that Mo White is hurt, or Mo would be in here. It's what Frank Devonnie calls Mo time. because this is the time he loves to drag people. There's going to be a loss of 2 as this tackle is made by Jordan McCord, who's in there at linebacker. Jordan McCord is the same story as Eachus. He was a linebacker to start the season, moved over on the offensive side. He's in right now playing some linebacker.
Yeah, and you know, Gary, it's just a product of maybe Dick Biddle wanting some athleticism in that defensive secondary to guard, to defend some of these Lafayette receivers. The most important thing now, Gary, is time management. You've got to take some time off the clock.
We just got confirmation Rob Curley has a new Lafayette record. Oh, what a great tackle that was. Coming up to make the hit is Uzi Ida. He's played a good football game today. We do have confirmation that today's 6-touchdown day for Rob Curley is a new Lafayette College record.
Boy, DeAndre Morrow, at the beginning of this play, Gary, looks as if he's got some room. I'm sorry as I'm talking over the official, but it looked like he had some room. But Uzi Ida, great closing speed on that end run. And Lafayette now with a 3rd and long.
There was a gain of 1 on that play. Well, in fact, now the ball, you're going to officially say the ball's on the 38. It's about as far away from the 38 as it can be. Rob Curley, how about his day? 16 for 29, 6 touchdown passes, 355 yards. His longest touchdown pass of the day, 50 yards.
Yeah, and the only blemish on his record is that interception. And Gary, if you remember, that interception was a calculated risk. He kind of threw the ball up in the air on a play that would have been a punt would have ensued anyway. And there's Jeff Cumming getting into the act, and they just seem to make the right call at the right time. There's enough tricks in that bag of Mickey Fines that there's always something left to do, it seems. So a big 3rd down play. Gary, big question here. Do you go for it and keep the clock running, force Colgate to use timeouts, or do you take a chance and put it up in the air? I think they're going to throw it.
It looks that way. Rob has found 8 different receivers today. That's been the norm all year long. Huge play. Fires, got a man open. There's Mark Lake, 1st down. Move the chains, keep the clock going. It's a late 1st down at the 26-yard line. A 12-yard pickup. Tackle made on the play by Corey Moses.
Gary, they've got 5 people in the pattern, including the tight end. Look at the offensive line. There are just too many people in the pattern to cover. When that happens, it puts an awful lot of pressure on that pass blocking of the offensive line. They did a great job. They gave Curley time to see the field. They gave Leighton time to get into the pattern, and it's a big 1st down.
Rob approaching 400 yards on the day at 368 from the 26. It's DeAndre Morrow. He'll get hit at the line of scrimmage and keep his legs churning. It is senior day, and the seniors are playing really, really good football as DeAndre Morrow gets a good run. He's one of those seniors, 5'10", 180. He'll pick up 3.
Everybody on that Lafayette sideline, Gary, thinking 2 words right now: ball security. It is all about ball security. The only thing seemingly at this point that can hurt the Leopards is a big mistake. Hold on to the football, 2 hands on it, try to salt this thing away. What a game.
2nd and 7 from the 23. The last time the Leopards scored 50 points in a game was against Holy Cross in 2004. And they are in field goal territory right now. DeAndre Morrow to the outside, 15 to the 10. He wants to stay in bounds. He'll get knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line. That is a 19-yard pickup. Mike Wojcik with the block.
Watch the center right here. This is Mike Wojcik. Now we're going to watch him get to the outside. Let's see how quick he moves. Hold on right here. There it is. Great block. And DeAndre Morrow runs right off his heels and gets to the outside. Again, the offensive line pass blocking, the offensive line run blocking. This team makes plays when they need them most.
1st and 4, 2:40 to go. As the Leopards just want to keep the clock moving and then put in that clincher. DeAndre Morrow, he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard on the play. Coming in to make that hit is Paul Mancuso. Boy, he's had an outstanding career at Colgate. Timeout called by the Raiders. That's their 2nd. They have 1 left. and gives us one opportunity to show you Lafayette's offensive line today, John. They have been outstanding all year. That's the masterminds. Stan Clayton.
Yeah, you know, what was a preseason concern has turned into a strength. Jerome Rudolph and Tyrell Kuhn and DeAndre Murray, they all benefit because of the not only the run blocking, Gary, but really the pass blocking. Rob Curley has had an exceptional year. I think what Rob Curley will be the first to tell you, it's all about the guys around him, and it starts with the offensive line.
Let's go down to Dan. Dan, get in there. Score a touchdown.
Oh, Gary, I'll tell you what, everybody's jumping in on the action. I just wanted to give you a quick historical perspective on how good these teams are and how good they've been on the run. 6 players, 3 for Colgate, 3 for Lafayette, are in the top 10 all-time rushing list for the Patriot League. Let's get back to Gary and John.
All right, a big 2nd and 5. Clock stopped at 2:28. One more timeout by Colgate. Any points here should clinch it. There it is, touchdown. Mark Layton again. Curley 7th touchdown pass.
That's amazing. I mean, that is a gutsy call. You got to believe if you run the ball, you force Colgate to take their last time out, even if you don't get it in the end zone. But Frank Devonnie, Mickey Fine, and Rob Curley would have none of it. Hey, we're going to fake the run. We're going to throw a little lob pass to Mark Layton, and Lafayette has posted 55 points this afternoon.
Mark Layton with 2 touchdown catches today. Now make it 3. Boy, it's hard to keep up with all these numbers. The kick is up, the kick is good, and we've got to do a lot of searching. As Lafayette with 56 points, I don't know if they've ever scored more than that in a ball game. We'll have to do a lot of looking around at the research.
Gary, let's take a look at this last touchdown. I mean, everybody in the stadium's got to believe this is going to be a run play. It was pretty good coverage, but again, Mark Layton put so much pressure on a defense, and when you try to single cover him, Rob Curley can put it anywhere in the neighborhood, and he reacts so well to the football. What an offensive performance, particularly through the air.
Rob Curley with his 7 touchdown passes today now has 39 in his career. He moves into 5th place. He passes Sean McHale and now finds himself 12 behind Frank Novak, who had 51.
Well, he's got a shot to do that next week. He can do that up in Worcester. Heck, and this
that
poor
guy.
Leopard.
Let's go. Poor Leopard.
It's going to be the strongest Leopard in the country. There's no question. And you know what? The truck is in a quandary because we're trying to figure out who our defensive player of the game is going to be.
What we do know is Lafayette scored 56 points against Holy Cross in a 56-20 win back in 2004. They beat Lehigh 64-0 in 1944.
Okay.
Thanks to John Bowman as he is checking those numbers.
I'm not even sure. You know, we're talking about the defensive player of the game, and would that be considered a dubious distinction this afternoon to become the defensive player of the game in a 56-42 game?
John, they stopped them when they had to.
You're exactly right. You're right.
First and 10 from the 37.
So now Colgate's got to come a little out of character. You're probably going to see the air filled with footballs.
Catching the ball is Eachus.
Remember, no timeouts. Colgate, or do they have 1 left? No, Colgate has 1 left.
He'll pick up 8. Second and 2 from the 45. Eachus with his first catch of the day for 8 yards. Sullivan drops the ball into the hands of Doug Rosnick. He gets popped.
There is a flag in the backfield, and it looks like another hold. And Colgate's offensive line has had a heck of a time containing the pass rush of Lafayette. It's one bright area.
Since Dick Biddle has taken over this program.
On the offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
He has beaten Lafayette 12 out of 13 times. Frank Devonnie 1 and 8. We talked about that being a key. 1 and 12 should make them sick. And they were made well with a win here today.
Everybody
And
feeling,
does that set up next week?
Oh,
a win. That game is for the Patriot League Championship.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
It is. I mean, no matter what happens, the winning team next week is the Patriot League champion. That pass is incomplete. Good coverage by Brandon Ellis.
Well, you're exactly right, because Colgate will have had their
2 losses, Lehigh 2 losses.
It's Holy Cross and Lafayette left standing.
That guy played a pretty good game. He could be our defensive player of the game, but he could be that guy every week. Mike Spidline could be that guy every week. We'll go to somebody new today, Doug Gorowski. He'll represent that defensive front 4.
Gary, you make a great point. You know, there are key points in the game when the defense has to make a play, even in a game like this.
That will be a good completion to Rosnick.
Clock will stop on the first down. Colgate not going away now. You've got to keep them out of the end zone.
Don't have enough time, one would think. They're down by 14. Sullivan back. Good fire, and not a catch. 2 guys had a shot at it. One of them was Simmons. He almost never misses a ball that he can touch.
Yeah, it really never quite, just out over his reach, and then it never quite got to the deep receiver. That was 84 John Shademan. So Colgate now having to throw on just about every possession. And Lafayette playing really in a prevent. They've got 7 guys deep in the secondary.
It's Sullivan again. He'll fire downfield, and it's Simmons again. Good pass, good catch, as the officials will mark the ball at the 12-yard line.
Nick Oliver.
31 yards.
I'm sorry, Gary. Nick Oliver really made him pay, but that gives you an example of Simon's great hands held on to the football.
So you still hold your breath.
Yeah.
Touchdown, onside kick.
There's a catch.
That'll keep the clock running at the 2, as that ball is caught by John Shademan.
Great hands catch, laying out over the middle. So Colgate poised with 50 seconds and counting.
His second catch of the day. And it's Eaches in for the touchdown. So Nate Eaches scores for his 5th touchdown of the day. His 5th touchdown of the day.
How about these numbers? Rob Curley, 7 touchdown passes. Nate Eaches, 5 touchdown runs. What an incredible offensive afternoon.
He now has 25 in his career as a sophomore, 15 this season, and trying to get back to within 7. So we are now an onside kick away from maybe breathing a sigh of relief.
The interesting thing about that drive is that Colgate did it while preserving 1 timeout. Now, in the unlikely event, of course today nothing's unlikely, but if Colgate does recover this onside kick, I mean, they're in business, Gary, with a timeout. The way the game is going today, never say never.
Now the question that needs answered, is this the most points ever scored in a Lafayette game?
There was one in late 90s, I think. It was something like 63-57, something like that. I remember I was at a youth softball game. I was listening to the game on the radio, and I just couldn't believe the numbers that were being put up that day. I think Tim Cave was working on it for us.
Frank, I'm sure, will not breathe a sigh of relief until they recover this onside kick. John, I don't want to give Colgate 40 seconds to score.
With a timeout, no way.
With a timeout. In 2001, Holy Cross beat the Leopards 63-53.
Yeah,
Might we have a game like that next week?
We may, but I was sitting in a parking lot at a youth softball tournament listening to that game, and I could not believe what I was hearing. Well, let's see, here we go.
Did it go 10 yards? Holy Cross says they have it, but it didn't go 10 yards. Illegal touching of the ball. Lafayette has the football. It never went the 10 yards it needed to go.
Not sure who covered it, but you're right, Gary. It had to get to the 40. It did not.
All right, the ball has to get to there. Here we go.
The ball was illegally touched before it went 10 yards beyond the kicking team's restraining line. Therefore, we are first down and 10, Lafayette, 39-yard line.
John, do some draw.
Yeah, there are the lines right there. Now the football has to go to this line right here. Let's see.
Without them touching.
Now once Colgate, that's right, hold on. This is where they touched it. This is where they touched it. Didn't go 10 yards. Lafayette takes over. Colgate can stop it one time. This game is essentially over, Gary.
It's 2 or 3 knees away. Trying to grab that snap.
Colgate just doesn't go away. They have been a Lafayette nemesis for the last 14 years for sure. And
Lafayette will have to stop or take a knee 2 more times. As you look at Rob Curley, an unbelievable afternoon. For when we arrived here today, we weren't sure how much time he could get with a sore shoulder. I chatted with him. He said, I feel fine. I chatted with Mickey Fine, the offensive coordinator. He said he feels fine.
I guarantee you.
He feels fine, I guess, especially now.
In the Burger Fieldhouse down to our left, Gary, they've got one of the most intricate water rehab systems. I guarantee you Rob Curley's in there 12 hours tomorrow.
Well, you know, Rob Curley was our player of the week last week, but could not come and talk to us because of his sore shoulder. And he was the ECAC player of the week, the Patriot League player of the week. They may have to give him those honors again.
An incredible football game, incredibly entertaining, incredibly hard fought. These two teams left everything on the field. And Gary, I do want to apologize to the defenses. I half jokingly said, you know, if you're the defensive player of the game in a 56-49 contest, I don't know if that's a good thing, but I'm telling you, these two offenses, you've got to tip your cap. This was not about the deficiencies of the defenses. This is about a Colgate football team that runs the ball as well as anybody in the country at this level, and a quarterback in Rob Curley who uses all of the weapons around him.
We're going to call a timeout. Right around the corner, of course, is the post-game show presented by the Maroon Club. We've got to catch our breath. We'll be back. We are back. This is the post-game show presented by the Maroon Club. Every gift matters every year. Join the Maroon Club today. This has been a season of firsts. With this win today, let's go back and review some of those firsts. John?
Yeah, there it is. Mark Layton got the season off to a great start. That was his first. Lafayette's first win ever over Yale. Frank Devonnie's first career win over Harvard. This was a huge win. And then Frank Devonnie's first career win today over Colgate. Gary?
At home.
At home, that is. Because we did beat them in 2006 up there. So the ride continues. It's been that kind of a journey for this football team. There have been times when we have really thought they've been down and out, they've been up against it. How about the third down pass to Mitchell Bennett, Gary? Because you could pick out so many points at which this game could have turned. Michael Bolton's recovery of the interception on a quick turnaround. But again, Rob Curley, all the kid does is win. You don't want to put it all on one kid, but I'll tell you what, he has been magnificent at using the weapons around him.
Well, it would take us all day to go back and recap the kind of day it's been, but what we do know is Lafayette is now 8-1, 4-0 in the Patriot League. The last time Lafayette was 8-1 was back in 1940. They finished 9-0 that season. Well, that can't be right. The only start that could top an 8-1, the only one that could top that mark through 9 games is 1940. They were 8-0 in 37, 9-0 in 26. And Frank Devonnie is going to celebrate this one, I'm sure. Dan, I bet he feels better.
I'll bet he does at this point. Frank, we were wondering how those symptoms are right now at this point of the day.
Well, feeling a little better right now. It's a heck of a football game.
A little less of a voice, but a little higher in spirit, it sounds like. What an amazing contest. You know, you guys are on track for hitting 96 points by the end of this contest. You exceeded that. Colgate doubled its output in the first half. You guys just kept on pushing down on the accelerator, it seems.
Well, just like over our door when we come out in the field, whatever it takes. And, you know, our defense for so many years just been carrying us and everything. But you saw today, hey, we had trouble. They got all those guns going. We knew that. But our offense just wouldn't be denied.
You know, Rob Curley put himself in Lafayette's record books earlier this season with 5 touchdown passes, moving to number 1 with 3 other guys. He's now number 1 with 7 touchdown passes.
Hey, well, I'll tell you, couldn't end any better this game, particularly last year when Robbie got hurt and had to go out, and that made a big difference in that ball game. And just the way he's come back from all of that and the year he's having, and certainly with this football team, just a tremendous thing for these young men. I'm really proud of the way they're playing.
Lafayette, with one of the toughest defense in the country, really put to the test today. It's been other units that have had to been kind of egged on during a game. This time it was the defense, but they did come through. They held Colgate to a moderate sum in the second half to keep things in play for Lafayette.
Hey, again, whatever it takes to win, offense, defense, special teams. I thought our special teams were outstanding with field position, covering those kicks. Chris Scott Crosgrove's leg must be sore. I don't know if he's ever kicked that many times, but play to the end, keep fighting. That's our motto. We keep doing it, and these kids are on a mission.
All right, that's Frank Devonnie, the winning head coach for the Lafayette Leopards. Frank, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's find out who our Coca-Cola players of the game are. We got the first one here. Doug Jarowski with a great day today, junior econ major here at Lafayette College. Doug, tell us a little bit about the defensive line. I'll tell you what, Colgate will come out and literally smack you in the face right at the very start of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a disappointing performance from the defensive standpoint. We wanted to be the ones knocking them back, but like Coach G said, we always say whatever it takes, and we pick each other up, and the offense really had our backs today.
Well, I'll tell you what, defense did come through because it takes both sides of the ball to work well. Tell us a little bit about the cohesion and the unity with the defensive core, especially on that defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing together for a few weeks. I mean, Dell and Polson in the middle are awesome. They're just unbelievable. They make all kinds of plays and free stuff up for me and Whitesall at the end. So yeah, we're playing real well together.
All right, Doug Jarowski, a junior defensive lineman, our Coca-Cola defensive player of the game. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And let's turn to our right to a new record holder here at Lafayette College. Mr. Rob Curley in his senior year is one of the most incredible passers. You're having quite a season, young man. I'll tell you what, percentage-wise and everything else, do you take a pause and enjoy that, or do you just look ahead and think, Holy Cross is up next, I got to study for it?
Exactly, Cross is up next. This is our whole focus this week was Colgate. Our offense is so multi-dimensional. Anybody can step up, on a certain day, and just I guess it was my day today. Everyone did well. I mean, O-line's doing their job, receivers doing their job, backs doing their job, and that's 56 points is definitely not too bad.
Not bad at all. I'll tell you what. In past years, we've seen great quarterback efforts with a tandem, a quarterback and a receiver. We think about Glavich and Wyrock, for instance, way back when. You spread the ball out beautifully. This is like the second or third game, maybe the fifth game that you've had 8 or more receivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, we have so much talent up there. I mean, teams, have to try to stop somebody, and then as soon as they try to do that, someone else is going to be open. So, I mean, that's our philosophy right now.
Excellent. I'll tell you what, you were Stunches, Bauer, Kirchhoff, and Curley all had 5 touchdown passes coming into today's game. Rob, I want to let you know, because they just whispered this in my earpiece, you have the school record, you now have the Patriot League record as well, so congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.